From Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, college football here on 3304 Sports as Virginia Tech welcomes Middle Tennessee to Blacksburg. Jake Lyman here with you alongside Tyler Katz for today's Week 2 matchup. Both of these teams 1-0 on the day. Tyler, should be a good day of football ahead of us.
Yeah, and especially for Middle Tennessee, a huge game for them taking on another Power 5 opponent. So they did in 2019 when they took on the Duke Blue Devils. That was a loss for the Blue Raiders. But coming into Lane Stadium for the first time in team history, they've never taken down a ranked opponent. And what a better time than now, Virginia Tech in between two rivalry games.
And that's true. Virginia Tech coming off a huge upset victory right here in Lane Stadium over rival number 10 North Carolina last Friday night. Looking ahead, a return to West Virginia for the first time in over a decade to play for the Black Diamond Trophy next week. But this game, Middle Tennessee, usually a solid program in the FBS and could give the Hokies some trouble today.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee, not somebody to look over. They do have 5 Power 5 victories. Last one was back in 2017 when they went into the Carrier Dome and took down the Syracuse Orange. Keep in mind that was the same year that the Orange later took down number 2 Clemson.
For Middle Tennessee, a familiar man under center for this Hokies defense. Last year, North Carolina State opened up the season in Lane Stadium. Bailey Hockman got the start, and he struggled a little bit. Hokies ended up winning that game pretty handily.
Yeah, making his 4th appearance in 4 different uniforms for Florida State, Hutchinson Community College, NC State, and now here for the Blue Raiders. For Hockman, a Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award watch list participant and quarterback, he could give the Hokies some trouble, but as you mentioned, he did have a lot of trouble getting the ball to his receivers when he was with the Wolfpack last season. And if the Hokies defense played like they did last week against North Carolina, Middle Tennessee could really struggle to get on the scoreboard.
Hockman had a good game against FCS Monmouth last week, 17 of 22, over 200 yards, 3 scores, no interceptions. But you mentioned that Hokies defense. Sam Howell came in here as a top 5 contender for the Heisman, as well as maybe the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. The Hokies stymied him pretty well, sacking him 6 times, 3 interceptions too.
Yeah, it was Sam Howell's worst appearance as a Tar Heel, throwing 3 interceptions. Had never done that before in his Tar Heel career.
For the Hokies on the offensive side of the ball, they only scored 17 points against North Carolina. Obviously, that was enough. But Braxton Burmeister looked sharp, just some missed opportunities for that Hokies offensive bunch.
Yeah, especially a fumble in the red zone in the first quarter, and a drive in which they had a touchdown that was later called back by review, had to settle for a field goal that they eventually missed. So 2 red zone drives that did not turn out in the Hokies' way, off the scoreboard both times. If they can convert better in the red zone against the Blue Raiders, they could be seeing a lot of success and potentially even going up farther in the rankings.
Virginia Tech currently ranked 19th in the country with a huge matchup with West Virginia next week. Then another possible trap game against Richmond right here in Lane Stadium 2 weeks after that. And then a showdown with Notre Dame, possibly the biggest game of the Hokies season as the Fighting Irish currently ranked 8th in the country. Hokies will be wearing their all-white uniforms as it is a whiteout here in Blacksburg today. The student section in the north end zone of Lane Stadium completely packed. A kind of a sparse crowd all the way around the rest of the way for a 2 o'clock game against Middle Tennessee. But overall, seems like the Hokies crowd has brought it once again.
And it's really that student section, not only north end zone, but that east stands, that section that is designated just for students, is packed to the brim, and you don't really see that anywhere else in the stadium. And after 2 years where students were deprived of football games last season, it's really good to see them showing up for both North Carolina and now for Middle Tennessee.
The Hokies captains emerged from the tunnel as the Let's Go Hokies chants now erupting throughout the stadium. Getting ready for Enter Sandman. It made waves yesterday against North Carolina. We'll let you sit back and listen in as the Hokies enter Lane Stadium. And there you have it, one of the rockingest entrances in college football as the Hokie faithful again. Not a huge crowd, but you could tell from that they are here, they are loud, and could be a tough environment from this Middle Tennessee State team that really probably hasn't experienced anything like this.
You know, Jake, if I wasn't in the stadium and I couldn't see the crowd right now, I would have told you that this crowd is sold out. That's the way this crowd reacted to hearing Enter Sandman. But it's really good to see the crowd here. And for Middle Tennessee, this is one of their biggest games in recent memory, playing from Lane Stadium.
Not many times you get to play in front of the Lane Stadium crowd as now they sing the chorus to Enter Sandman, getting set for kickoff in just a few minutes here from Lane Stadium. Once again, Jake Lyman, Tyler Katz with you here on 3304 Sports. We look at the captains heading out for the coin toss today. For Virginia Tech, James Mitchell, Tyrell Smith, the seventh-year senior on the offensive line. Jamari Connor also out there wearing the number 1. And then Dax Hollyfield, the senior linebacker for Virginia Tech, who are again in their all-white uniforms, white helmet, white jersey, and white pants. For Middle Tennessee State, they are in their silver helmets with royal blue jerseys and pants for them as well. Looking at the captains for Middle Tennessee, the fifth-year starter at safety, Reed Blankenship, is out there. Also see a lot of defensive players for them on that linebacker spot. DQ Thomas is out there.
Jalen Lane and Jordan Ferguson round out those Middle Tennessee captains as well.
Coin toss about to get underway here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. Wind is blowing across from right to left across the field from the south end zone to the north. But a beautiful day in Blacksburg. Temperatures in the 70s. A little bit of cloud cover above our head, but the blue sky peeking through as well. A beautiful sight for college football today. Again, a 2 p.m. kick between Virginia Tech, who is 1-0, ranked 19th in the country, and Middle Tennessee, 1-0, beating FCS Monmouth last week.
Coin toss just occurred at midfield between those two captains, with Middle Tennessee winning the toss and deferring to the second half. For the second straight week, Virginia Tech will receive the football. Worked out for them last time because they scored a touchdown on that opening drive against UNC that really set the tone.
One of just 3 touchdowns scored in that game, but Virginia Tech was able to go right down the field in that game. Braxton Burmeister cashed in with one of his 2 touchdowns, that one coming on the ground. So it will be Burmeister and this Hokies offense that start on offense in today's game. The Hokies offense put up just 17 points back against North Carolina last week. They're hoping for a little bit more offensive output against Middle Tennessee. Looking at North Carolina's defense, the cornerbacks were very physical, some of the better groups in the entire country. Hokies should have a little bit more opportunity to find some receivers downfield against the Blue Raiders.
And especially for quarterback in Braxton Burmeister last week, went 12 for 19, so not too many passing attempts. Meanwhile, the 2 main running backs in Jalen Holston and Raheem Blackshear combined for 24 rushing attempts. So it seems like the game plan against UNC was to run the ball. We'll see if that changes today.
Hokies could open it up. Seemed like the goal last week was just to keep Sam Howell off the field as much as possible. Maybe the Hokies play a little more up-tempo today. We are ready for kickoff. Middle Tennessee kicking from their own 35-yard line towards the north end zone where the Hokies student section is going crazy. Deep back to receive is Jalen Holston. Kicked away, spinning kick out towards the left side. Keyshawn King was back deep as well, and he will catch it right at the goal line. He'll take it out across the 15 to the 20, angling towards the left sideline. He beats one. He's got room up the sideline across midfield, finally dragged down in Middle Tennessee territory at the 45-yard line.
What a pacemaker. Keyshawn King able to find the route, and you don't usually see somebody run from his right all the way to the left. Went from the Hokies sideline to the Blue Raiders sideline just to keep finding routes, and a huge play for Virginia Tech to start them in Middle Tennessee territory. If this is the pace that Virginia Tech's going to play at today, we could see a blowout fast, but we'll see if Middle Tennessee can respond.
And Keyshawn King fumbled against North Carolina, a good way to redeem himself to start off this game. Hokies will start in the shotgun, ball on the left hash from the 44-yard line, 1st and 10. Trips to the right, one receiver to the left. Handoff right side, this is going to be Raheem Blackshear, and he is spun down in the backfield for a loss of 1 yard back to the 45-yard line.
And again, we see that running game plan, 24 combined rushing attempts between Blackshear and Holston. And it seems like that could be the game plan again today, as there was a rushing attempt on the first play from scrimmage.
Blackshear will be the lone setback to the right of Burmeister on 2nd and 11 from the 45. In motion comes the tight end Gallo. He'll set up on the right side of the line. Snap, Burmeister will throw, looks right, throws right, and it's knocked away. Tavion Robinson is the intended receiver, and in to stop it was DeCorian Patterson was able to make that stop. One of the better cornerbacks for the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, the redshirt sophomore from Florida.
Patterson with a nice pass breakup. He had one in the last game for the Blue Raiders against Monmouth, getting another one here. He only had 5 pass breakups all of last season. He could be on pace to break that by a long shot.
Hokies are hoping they don't waste the long return from King to start the game in the shotgun. 3rd and 11. Mitchell comes in motion across the formation to the left side. Snap, Burmeister drops back, looks right. Now he has to flush out to his right, trying to direct receivers. Pressure comes and he's taken down. A sack in the backfield. DQ Thomas, the linebacker from Mississippi, drops him at the Hokies' own 41-yard line. A good stop by the Middle Tennessee defense is going to force the Hokies to go 3 and out.
A 15-yard sack, making it 4th and 24, pushing them into Virginia Tech territory. And that's something the Hokies cannot afford. They cannot have big energy coming from the crowd through Inner Sandman, then the big return.
Back to punt, Peter Moore. He will send this one way deep and inside the 15-yard line. Taken back to the 13 is number 83, Jalen Lane, the freshman. He calls for a fair catch, and that is where Middle Tennessee will start up their first drive on the offensive side of the ball at their own 13-yard line. So not a great start for Virginia Tech. You get that big kickoff return from Keyshawn King, puts you in plus territory to start the day. Hokies go 3 and out with a big sack from DQ Thomas.
And that is definitely not the offense that we saw for the most part against North Carolina. It seems like that Middle Tennessee defense is confusing Virginia Tech.
The Blue Raiders start on offense. Bailey Hockman will start in the pistol. Back deep, Amir Rasul. He will get the ball on the handoff, slips a tackle in the backfield, now spins forward, but finally met by a mob of Hokies defenders after a gain of about 1, maybe just got back to the line of scrimmage. Hokies were able to penetrate deep into the backfield there as it looked like Tywan Garbett almost made the play, but finally brought down, led by Nasir Peoples in the middle of all of it. So it was a 5-yard gain on the play. In the pistol once again, Hockman will bring a receiver in motion. That's England Chisholm. Met in the backfield on the handoff. That time he got him. It's Tywan Garbett for a loss of 5.
Big play by Garbett, and just didn't seem like it was the best game plan for Middle Tennessee. They saw that the run worked with Rasul on the previous play. They tried to go back to the running game and simply did not work out. The Hokies were ready for it.
Garbett slipping the block from that right side and able to make the play on back-to-back snaps. Now it's 3rd and 9 from the 9-yard line. Middle Tennessee in the shotgun. Hockman with Rasul to his right. Snap. The lefty looks left, now throws right side, and that is going to be caught but fumbled out of bounds as Chamari Connor knocked it free. It will be 4th down as C.J. Wyndham, the senior, made the grab, but unable to get to the sticks, and now Middle Tennessee sends out the punt unit.
And Chamari Connor had a good pass coverage, but it almost seemed like he gave him 2 yards to be able to make that catch. It was just something where I was more expecting Connor to be into that pass, try to get a breakup, but he more so gave him room to make a catch.
It will now be the punter, Kyle Ulbrich, the redshirt junior, back to punt this one away. Tavion Robinson waits, almost got there as Ulbrich boots this one away. Robinson backpedals, catches it just inside his own 35. Tried to slip a tackle, but taken down. The gunner, England Chisholm, able to make the stop there as Robinson stopped in his track. The Hokies' second drive will start at their own 35-yard line. And it looks like we will see a break in action on the field. Back-to-back 3-and-outs from both offenses thus far as we have a defensive struggle through the first 3 minutes of this one. Still scoreless from Lane Stadium, 11:47 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a quick break, be back with more college football here on 3304 Sports. We welcome you back from Lane Stadium. College football on 3304 Sports. Virginia Tech and Middle Tennessee all tied up, still scoreless with just 3 minutes gone in the first quarter of this one. Hokies getting the ball back for the second time. Jake Lyman, Tyler Katz with you here. Braxton Burmeister will come out in the shotgun to start it off. Looks like Keyshawn King may have redeemed himself after his big kickoff return to start the game, as he is the lone back to the left. 3 receivers in the formation. Now King will move into the pistol. Slaps the hands together. Now hands off right side. King able to slip a tackle. Dives forward close to the 40-yard line. They will spot him at the 38. A gain of 3 yards makes it 2nd and 7 for the Hokies on this drive.
And only 2 yards in 3 attempts all of last week's game against UNC. So Keyshawn King getting 4 yards, already beating his total yardage from last week.
Hokies will be in the shotgun once again. King is the lone setback once again. 2 tight end formation, both to the right. Now DeLulius moves in motion. 2 receivers in the formation. Snap, another handoff, left side for King. He's going to get eaten up by the Middle Tennessee defense right at that 40-yard line. Looked like we saw Deontay Stanley, the redshirt freshman from South Carolina, end up making that tackle. Back-to-back runs from King, 5 yards, so it'll bring up 3rd and 5 from their own 40-yard line. Ball in the middle of the field, and Burmeister in the shotgun. 4 receivers in the formation, including the tight end James Mitchell in the slot to the right. Burmeister calls out some signals. Now will move King to his right. Slaps the hands, brings in the high snap. Pressure comes off the left side. Spins out left, now has time. He's going to try and make a play with his feet. Across the 40, dives for the marker, and he got it. Out of bounds at the 46-yard line. And Burmeister able to improvise and make a play to get the big first down for the Hokies, their first of the day.
And they really needed that. Braxton Burmeister, after getting sacked in the last offensive drive for the Hokies on a big loss, finally able to escape pressure and make a play out of it.
And actually, they're going to mark him 2 yards short of the first down marker. Looks like Burmeister may have stepped on the sideline before that one, and the Hokies will have to run out the punt unit. Tough break for the Hokies there, as it looked like Burmeister made the athletic play to get to the line, but instead Peter Moore back out for the second time. The wait back takes a low snap. Middle Tennessee will wait back as Jalen Lane waits at the 15-yard line. He brings it in at the 14, and that will be where Middle Tennessee starts once again. Back-to-back drives for the Blue Raiders starting inside the 20. At least Peter Moore's doing his job out there.
Yeah, Peter Moore, and it has to be said that a big part of that punting unit is number 25 and Oscar Shadley, the long snapper, getting the honors of wearing Beamer's number 25 jersey as the specialist of the week this week.
For Virginia Tech, Beamer ball was always the coined term about scoring on special teams, so each week one special teams player allowed to wear the number 25. Middle Tennessee starts their second drive from their own 14-yard line. In the pistol once again, Hockman will bring a receiver in motion to the right side. Handoff, Rasul finds some room across the 15, and now he is dragged down at the 19-yard line. And that'll be a gain of about 4 yards for Amir Rasul, the former Florida State Seminole. Quickly back into the formation, back in the pistol. Hockman will stand right in front of Rasul, trips out to the right side with 3 receivers. Hockman slaps the hands together, now will wait as the Hokies crowd gets into gear. Takes the snap, quick screen pass out right side. The receiver will get across the 20-yard line up towards the 23 before finally getting dragged down. I believe that was Jalen Lane who was able to make the grab, gets 4 yards, and that'll make it 3rd and 2.
Had a big game against Monmouth, 4 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Averaged 23 yards per reception against the Hawks.
3rd and 2 now as the Hokies crowd gets on its feet. 3rd and 2 from the 23. Wildcat formation as now a runner comes in motion. It's going to go straight back to the lone setback. He dives forward trying to get through the tackle and believe he will be half a yard short.
Yeah, that was a very quick call by the line judge in Anthony Maynor, calling it 4th down and calling him short almost immediately after he went down on the play.
Looks like the punt unit will come out once again, a yard short. Shaitan Mobley was able to make the play. He had a couple of carries against Monmouth last week, 4 rushes for 24 yards. That led the team. So the punter, Ulbrich, is back once again. He will stand on his own 9-yard line awaiting the long snap, and now a timeout called by Middle Tennessee. Maybe thinking about possibly going for it, the underdog in this game.
But it is a really risky call. They are on the 24-yard line, and if you fail, you put Virginia Tech almost into automatic points into field goal range.
Game is still scoreless. 8:03 remaining in the first. 8:03 remaining in the first quarter. 4th and 1 from the 24 for Middle Tennessee. Timeout called by Brent Stockstill, their head coach. In his 16th season with the Blue Raiders, has led them to a couple of bowl games during his time there. Done a good job with this Blue Raiders program that has struggled in the last 2 seasons trying to find their way back to their form from the mid-2010s. For Justin Fuente on the hot seat entering this season after a 5-6 year last year, snapping the Hokies nearly 30-year-long, the longest active streak at the time, now snapped after the Hokies did not make it into a bowl game last year. But a good start to his 2021, beating North Carolina last week and putting the Hokies back in the rankings at number 19.
Yeah, but Jake, we talked about it pregame that North Carolina last week, for West Virginia next week, that this game could fall between the cracks and be a trap game for the Hokies. And how about this for some inspiration for Middle Tennessee? Has never defeated a ranked team. All of a sudden you have a team that's coming off a win that may be looking ahead. This could be the Blue Raiders' time to shine.
Hokies have to make sure they're not looking ahead to next week. Again, as you mentioned, a trip to Morgantown on the schedule next week, a big game against a fellow Power 5 team. Maybe you don't take the Conference USA Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders as serious as you need to. Hokies offense looking a little bit slow and a little bit rusty out of the gate, as they did against North Carolina as well. The offense last year really wasn't the problem for the Hokies. It was the defense. Now it seems like those roles may have reversed early on this season.
Well, for Middle Tennessee, something they really have to keep in mind is that they have the skill set to come into Lane Stadium and defeat Virginia Tech. They've defeated 5 Power 5 teams, Maryland twice, Georgia Tech, Missouri, and Syracuse. Virginia Tech could be added to that list if they play their cards right, and it looks like that punt return unit is coming back out onto the field for Virginia Tech. So still waiting to see what Middle Tennessee's game plan was with taking that timeout so early in this ballgame.
Again, scoreless game. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, and they will send the punt unit out once again as Kyle Ulbrich gets his second chance. Averaged 45 yards per punt with a long of 51 in the game against Monmouth last week. He stands at his own 9-yard line awaiting the long snap. Tavion Robinson waiting to receive back at the Hokies 30. Ball on the right hash as Middle Tennessee will punt this one away towards the north end zone from right to left across your radio dial. Snap goes back. Ulbrich will wait, moves to his right, and boots this one away. Towards the right side, just to the left of the hash marks. Robinson again backpedaling, calls for the fair catch just outside the 20-yard line, and the Hokies will start their third drive of the game even further back as the field position game starting to favor the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, Virginia Tech started with that big return by Keyshawn King. Got them into Middle Tennessee territory. That's the only time they've been there so far today, trying to respond with Braxton Burmeister back under center. We haven't seen him throw the ball as much as I would have liked to have seen yet. Only one attempt, it was incomplete.
Hokies will come out in the shotgun once again from the 21-yard line. Ball on the left hash, 3 receivers in the formation. Nick Gallo, the tight end, moves across the formation to the right. Burmeister will throw, looks right, throws right, has Caleb Smith, who shakes off the first tackler and now is thrown out of bounds by Reed Blankenship after a gain of about 6 yards up to the 27.
Yeah, Reed Blankenship, a big defender for Middle Tennessee, making a nice stop. The 5th-year senior is currently 8th in tackles in Middle Tennessee history, has 309 currently, and is on pace to become the new Middle Tennessee leader in tackles at the end of this season.
Blankenship, a captain, one of the best players on this Blue Raiders team. It'll be 2nd and 4. Burmeister rolls out right, has a screen pass to his tight end Mitchell. He gets caught up among a few Blue Raiders before finally falling forward and believe that will be a first down. And that is the first down of the day for Virginia Tech as James Mitchell has his first catch a gain of about 6, and the Hokies are up to the 32-yard line.
Jake, how about this? We're 8 minutes into today's game. 15 combined offensive yards between the two teams. All 15 belong to the Blue Raiders.
1st and 10 now for the Hokies from the 32. Burmeister looks over to his sideline to get the play. It'll be a 3-receiver formation with Turner and Tavion Robinson to the near side and Caleb Smith split out to the left. Ball on the right hash. Gallo in motion to the left side. Snap. Burmeister will throw once again. Another out route to the left sideline. Caleb Smith spears it with the hands, and he falls out of bounds after a gain of about 7 yards up to the 39-yard line.
And I mentioned it coming into this drive. I'd like to see Braxton Burmeister throw the ball a bit more. He has on this drive. Caleb Smith has been a huge piece of that puzzle, but a few completions so far, and it sets up an easy 2nd and 3.
Caleb Smith did not have a catch against North Carolina, but was out there plenty and helped in the run-blocking game. He'll be to the right side this time as Robinson and Turner both move to the left. Turner will get it on a screen pass, and he slips one tackle, is across the first down marker, and moves one tackler up to the 45-yard line. Another first down for the Hokies as Tyler, like you said, the Hokies passing game starting to get this offense moving.
Yeah, and Trey Turner making his first catch of the day. He's just one reception now away from his 100th reception in a Hokies uniform.
Just over 9 minutes in, first quarter, scoreless game. Hokies have 1st and 10 from the 45 on the left hash. 3 receivers in the set. Burmeister again throws left sideline, and he overthrew his man. That's James Mitchell, the tight end on the left side.
And it was actually caught by a member of Middle Tennessee. Luckily for the Hokies, it was number 1 out of bounds and number 2 a coach.
In coverage on that left side, Greg Great, one of the 2 safeties for this Middle Tennessee team. He makes a formidable pairing with Reed Blankenship on the back half of that defense. 2nd and 10 now from the 45 after the incomplete pass. Burmeister in the shotgun, ball on the left hash once again. Fake the handoff, Holston, throw out right flat. This is Dwayne Lofton, and he is knocked down in the backfield. Blankenship read that like a book, and he stops him for a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd and 11 for Virginia Tech.
And it seems like every drive so far today has stalled on a big loss. There was that opening drive, a 15-yard sack on Braxton Burmeister. Now that tackle to lose a bunch of yards to set up 3rd and 11.
3rd and 11 from their own 44. Holston in motion. Burmeister slaps his hands and might have gotten some movement on that left side of the Middle Tennessee line. Believe that's Marley Cook who jumped a little bit early.
And there are 3 flags down. All 3 officials saw it.
And it'll be an offsides call on Middle Tennessee. That'll help the Hokies out there. Turns 3rd and long into 3rd and manageable. Now 3rd and 6 from their own 49-yard line.
First penalty of the day so far. It's been a disciplined 10 minutes for the most part.
Just under 10 minutes into this game. Again, still scoreless as now we cross the 5-minute mark in the first quarter. 3rd and 6 from the 49-yard line. Burmeister in the shotgun. Ball on the right hash. 4 receivers in the set. Holston will move out left. Now snap. Pressure comes right up the middle. Burmeister escapes out to his left. Flag comes down. He is across the 40 before sliding and taking a big hit. And another flag will come in at the end of the play as Burmeister still down on the turf.
I think we could see targeting on Middle Tennessee and a hold call on Virginia Tech. That's what I believe those 2 flags are right now.
Crowd not pleased with that late hit on Burmeister, who looked like he was sliding across the 40.
And that looks to be a clear targeting on Gregory Great of Middle Tennessee. Burmeister was going down. Great led with the tip of his helmet. We'll have to see what this call is, but right now the focus is on making sure that quarterback Braxton Burmeister is okay.
So 2 calls on the play. Hokies are going to get flagged for illegal use of hands. And Middle Tennessee does get the targeting call on Greg Great. That will go to review, as all targeting plays do. If the call stands, Greg Great will be ejected from this game. It does happen in the first half, so he will be eligible for next week's game, but he will be done for the day. Of more concern, Braxton Burmeister still being attended to on the turf just inside the 40-yard line. He ran for 13 yards on the play to get the first down.
And currently, not a good sign when you see backup quarterback Knox Kadam currently taking warm-up passes in between the 35 and 45-yard line. Burmeister's still down, being surrounded by a host of team doctors. For Middle Tennessee, Greg Great is somebody that you cannot really afford to lose. He was ranked 8th in the country in interceptions last year, named to the Senior Bowl watch list, and was first team All-CUSA in 2020. A big player for Middle Tennessee. Could be a big loss if this comes out to be confirmed.
Junior from Miami, Florida again. We're just talking about him making that great safety tandem with Reed Blankenship. Braxton Burmeister is back on his feet, and he is being helped across the field back towards the Hokies sideline. Seems to be okay walking off under his own power now, but he will have to leave the game at least for a little bit. Probably going to have to go get checked into the concussion protocol, so it will be Knox Kadam's team for the foreseeable future. The redshirt freshman from Rome, Georgia, only has 1 game of experience. He came in against the Clemson Tigers last year and had a little bit of success in a tough situation where the Hokies lost that game in blowout fashion, but getting thrown into the fire like that at least has a little bit of game reps to get him ready for this situation. And I believe they just overturned the targeting call on Greg Great.
And that's not going to make the Hokies happy. However, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct called, and that will be an automatic first down.
So the Hokies will get to extend this drive, but no targeting. Greg Great will be able to stay in the game. A weird situation. And excuse me, it looks like they're setting this up to be 3rd and 6 again. It might be offsetting penalties on that hands to the face. So a weird scenario here with 2 flags on the play, an injury, possible targeting. But it looks like we are going to see 3rd and 6 from the 49-yard line once again.
There's a conversation between officials. Head referee Mike Roche came out and gave the first down signal to the national audience, and now it indeed will be a 1st and 10. So a bit of confusion as the referees are going to meet at midfield. Doesn't seem like we know exactly whether it will be that 3rd down or a first down.
We're confused up here, but seems like the referees are on the field as well, so we'll see how this gets sorted out. Right now, the chains are set up for a 3rd and 6 from the 49, and it looks like that is what we are going to play with. So we'll redo the down. 3rd and 6. Oh, no, and now they move the chains. So it is going to be 1st and 10 from the same spot at the 49, and Knox Kadam takes over at quarterback. Scoreless game, 4:40 to go and ticking here in the first quarter. Kadam takes the snap, handoff. It's Raheem Blackshear, makes a move to the outside. Now he gets through with a spin move. He's across the 40 and down at the 35, where he's finally wrapped up by 4 Blue Raiders.
What a play. Just athleticism from Raheem Blackshear. The transfer from Rutgers had 11 rushing attempts for 16 yards against UNC. That was a great play for the first.
Hurry up offense here. Kadam takes the shotgun snap once again. Handoff to Blackshear. He's up the middle. Gets a few yards there, maybe 3. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 from the 32-yard line for Virginia Tech. Blackshear led the team in receiving last week. 3 catches for 66 yards. Now being used out of the backfield as a runner. He'll set up to the right of Knox Kadam. Trips receivers to the right side this time. Snap, fakes the handoff. Kadam will throw into the flat right side for Mitchell. Stiff arm, but he's wrapped up as Blankenship held on to his leg and would not let go. Pulls down Mitchell. A gain of maybe 1 or 2 on the play will bring up a 3rd and medium.
And the Blue Raiders have done a great job at forcing 3rd downs for Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just 1 for 3 on 3rd downs today.
They'll have 3rd and 5 from just inside the Blue Raiders' 36-yard line. Hokies huddle here. Not quite in makeable field goal range. Snap. Kadam will give the handoff right side. Blackshear will carry a few Blue Raiders close to the first down marker. Looks like he'll be ruled just about a yard short on the play as the fist comes up from the line judge. It will be 4th down. We'll see what Justin Fuente wants to do here. A backup quarterback with Kadam in the game would be a 48-yard field goal for John Parker Romo if the Hokies decided to try and kick it. They're leaving the offense out here for now.
Romo did make a 48-yard field goal against UNC And this is a run situation, but I would really like to see Kadam throw the ball in the next drive or if next set of downs.
4th and 1 from the 26. Hokies going to go for it. Turner in motion. Now to the left side. Snap does come. Handoff. Blackshear has room. He's got the first down and more. Bowling ball right through some tackles. He's inside the 20. And 1st and 10 for the Hokies in the red zone.
Big play for the Hokies, going for it on 4th down, and it pays off. And now this is the time they're on the 18-yard line. Knox Kadam is not a bad quarterback. He went 4 for 6 in that game against the Clemson Tigers. He knows how to throw the ball. I say let's see what he can do here against Middle Tennessee.
Hokies in the red zone for the first time. Blackshear gets the first down carry there. 1st and 10 from the 18. Kadam in the shotgun. Now whistles blow, and a timeout called by Virginia Tech. Justin Fuente wants to talk it out with his redshirt freshman quarterback, Knox Kadam, who's coming in after the injury to Braxton Burmeister. Still a scoreless game, just under 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Maybe not the way the Hokies would have liked to start this game. Obviously, Burmeister now uncertain his status for the rest of this game and still haven't put any points on the board.
And I think the bigger story for Virginia Tech is if Braxton Burmeister can return not only in this game, but you have 1 week to prepare for one of your biggest rivals in program history in West Virginia in a battle for the Black Diamond Trophy. Will it be Knox Kadam under center for that game? These are the questions that Virginia Tech has to start asking now so that they can be prepared for the Mountaineers.
Well, and the Hokies seem to have an embarrassment of riches at quarterback last year with Burmeister, Hendon Hooker, who's now at Tennessee, and Quincy Patterson, the starter at North Dakota State. But after the latter two transferred, some youth behind Burmeister at quarterback with Kadam and freshman Taj Bullock, really the only two available at that spot.
Well, Jake, also number 4, Conor Blumrick, the transfer out of Texas A&M, was warming up.
Jet sweep here as Turner comes across the formation, tiptoes down the sideline and falls forward inside the 10. A gain of about make that 7 on the play, and the Hokies will have 2nd and short inside the 10-yard line.
It's been a very interesting drive with those offsetting penalties, and the Hokies just continuing to convert on 3rd and 4th downs.
And it looked like Turner maybe even got more on that 2nd attempt down the sideline. They rule it a first down for the Hokies, 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. So Kadam coming into the game, maybe nothing flashy so far, hasn't thrown the ball downfield, but he's running this offense effectively. He'll be in the pistol here with Blackshear 3 yards behind him in that backfield. DeLulius comes across the formation, now sets on the right side. Handoff, Blackshear skips to his right, now falls forward as he hit a group of Blue Raiders defenders. He's close to the 5-yard line. We'll call it the 6. Under a minute left in the first quarter, and now Braxton Burmeister has run back onto the field. That didn't take long. Seems like he may have been down on the field after the play more than he was on the sideline, and that is a great sign for the Hokies.
And we'll have to see how he responds. If he's still shaken up or has a bit of shell shock from that last hit, we will definitely see that highlighted on a 2nd and goal.
He'll come back and start in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left. Holston is to his right. Blue Raiders showing blitz right up the middle with their linebackers. They'll back off. Now send pressure off the edges. Burmeister throws left corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. It's Tavion Robinson. He pulls it in the back left corner of the end zone. Virginia Tech takes a 6-0 lead.
Just a big play by Tavion Robinson, the sophomore out of Virginia Beach. Was 2 reception yards away from number 1,000 in his career, and he'll pass it on a touchdown pass from Braxton Burmeister. First play after a big injury to get that touchdown. Skipper fires, and the Hokies find themselves up.
That's got to make you feel better about Burmeister being back out there after the injury. His first pass, a touchdown to Tavion Robinson from 6 yards out. John Romo on for the extra point. He splits the uprights, and it is 7-0 Hokies. 19 seconds to go in the first quarter. Tavion Robinson had just 1 catch last week. His first today, a touchdown from Braxton Burmeister. Virginia Tech up 7-0 here on 3304 Sports. And actually, we're going to stay right here as the Hokies are getting lined up to kick already. Tyler, that is a huge drive for the Hokies. A lot of positive developments there when things started looking a little bit bleak with Braxton Burmeister heard still a scoreless game against Middle Tennessee. Hokies kind of answer a lot of those questions right there.
Well, the big thing for me is I've never seen a quarterback stay down that long and have that scary of a moment with it seemed like 5 team doctors surrounding him, only to return and throw a touchdown pass on that same drive.
If there was any doubt about Braxton Burmeister's status in this game, it seems to be answered now. Greg Great almost called for targeting. At least initially he was called for targeting. That was reversed on replay review, but now everybody's okay. Everybody stays in the game. Virginia Tech leads 7-0.
Keep in mind, Jake, there was also an unsportsmanlike conduct on Middle Tennessee that really saved the Hokies and gave them that first down.
Hokies strike first, and now John Parker Roma will boot it away towards the south end zone here in Lane Stadium. Prances towards the ball and kicks it end over end towards the Middle Tennessee State side. Jalen Lane will take advantage of the new rules that allows you to fair catch it outside of the end zone. He does. That will be a touchback as the Blue Raiders start at the 25-yard line.
A great rule as well. Studies show that the most injuries in football come on the kickoff return, and the NCAA making strides to ensure that there are less student athletes being injured. Personally, I think that fair catch rule is something great for the sport as we get to see less young men get injured.
And that has been the part of the game that has been changed the most to try and help with health and safety protocols. Middle Tennessee from the 25, their best starting field position of the day so far. Just 15 total yards for the Blue Raiders. Hockman in the shotgun. Slaps his hands together. Hokies will send 5. Waits back in the pocket. Throws right side. Good throw, but it's off the hands of Jaron Pierce on the right side and knocked into the Middle Tennessee sideline. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Blue Raiders.
Excellent pass coverage by Nasir Peoples, who was able to get there and make the hit on the Middle Tennessee receiver. The second the ball reached his hands, Peoples, great pass coverage on that play.
And Peoples being promoted on the depth chart this week to the starter at boundary safety. In the pistol, Hockman ready. 4-down lineman for the Hokies. Snap, screen pass right side into the flats. Diving, a stop there. And that is going to be Keyshawn Artis who dives and stopped the receiver in the flats. Believe that's Jaron Pierce again who was able to make the grab. 2-yard gain on the play makes it 3rd and 8 from the 27-yard line. And that will end the quarter here, it looks like, as we see triple zeros on the clock here in the first. Virginia Tech gets on the board first after 14 scoreless minutes. Braxton Burmeister finds Tavion Robinson in the back corner of the end zone for the first touchdown of the day. And that is the score, 7-0 Virginia Tech. We head to the second quarter here on 3304 Sports. After one quarter, Virginia Tech leads 7-0 over Middle Tennessee here in Lane Stadium. We are live on 3304 Sports. Jake Lyman and Tyler Katz with you. Blue Raiders have the ball. It'll be 3rd and 8 from their own 27. Hokies trying to induce a 3rd straight 3-and-out for Middle Tennessee. Again, Hokies in their white-out uniforms today. White helmets, white jerseys, white pants. All blue with silver helmets for Middle Tennessee as they'll move towards the south end zone here in the second quarter. In motion comes C.J. Wyndham back towards the formation. Snap, Hockman, the lefty, will deal this one out to the left side. And that's Jaron Lane who catches it just across the first down marker. Skips out of bounds at the 38-yard line. And there's a first down for Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, not the best start to the quarter, especially after forcing 3rd down.
So 1st and 10 from their own 38. Ball on the left hash. 7-0 Hokies lead 30 seconds into the second quarter. Pressure comes right up the middle on the snap here to Hockman. Rolls left, throws left, and the pass is too high out to the left side for C.J. Wyndham, the redshirt senior. Brings up 2nd and 10.
And for Hockman, only a 2nd in completion. However, a lot of short passing plays, only 22 yards passing. Compare that to the 82 that he had with NC State last season. Seems like he could make completions, but as to how far those go is really the question.
Hokies defense have shut down a lot of short completions from Hockman. He's in the pistol with Rasul right behind him. He hands off to the former Florida State Seminole, and he's eaten up right at the line of scrimmage. That is Keyshawn Artis once again coming up the gut. Not a guy the Hokies expected to see a lot from. And now a flag is thrown on the field. Hokies are pointing towards Middle Tennessee, saying it's on them. came in late. Could be another unsportsmanlike conduct here as it came after the play. And it will be. Believe that's going to be on Amir Rasul, the redshirt senior who carried the ball on that play.
I believe that I heard 33, which would be to Corian Patterson. However, not on the offense, so I must have heard that wrong.
You would assume that maybe the referee made a mistake there, but it is a 15-yard penalty and a big one. Backs up Middle Tennessee all the way back to where they started their drive, inside it actually at their own 23-yard line. Third and 25.
It is in fact Rasul who was called on that penalty.
Rasul gets the 15-yard unsportsmanlike. Hokies with 4 down linemen on defense. Hockman in the shotgun. 4 receivers in the formation on 3rd and 25. Fakes the handoff. Mobley will roll out left. Now Hockman follows him over there, over towards the sidelines, escapes the pressure, throw back middle of the field. It is caught, but well short of the first down marker. About 14 yards on the play there to Jaron Pierce. Won't be enough to get the first down, and the Hokies have once again forced a punt.
And it was interesting to see, I believe.
And actually that was Jimmy Marshall, the senior from Georgia, who made the grab.
And was injured after 5 games last season, injured in the game against FIU. He popped up and almost said it was a first down. He had gotten 15 yards, but I don't think he realized it was a 3rd and 25.
Marshall, 2 catches for 15 yards last week against Monmouth. Kyle Ulbrich back to kick once again. He boots this one back towards the Hokies end zone, and Tavion Robinson retreats, catches it at the 10, and now he's got room, slips a tackle, he's up across the 40, 45, 50, only has to beat the punter. He does, but now he's caught from behind inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. Tavion Robinson showing off the wheels to put the Hokies in business, already up 7-0.
Brody Butler making a big stop for Middle Tennessee. He was about to make a house call, but instead it will be the 2nd return today that the Hokies have set up in Middle Tennessee territory.
And the Hokies have made 2 big plays in special teams, getting the Beamer ball going in this game against Middle Tennessee. And with 2 minutes gone in the second quarter, Hokies trying to extend their 7-0 advantage. Tech offense comes back out onto the field. It'll be Braxton Burmeister behind center once again as he returned from his injury on the last drive and threw a touchdown pass to Tavion Robinson, who just had the big return. He'll be in the shotgun, 3 receivers in the formation. Caleb Smith split out to the right. Now Nick Gallo across the formation at tight end. Snap, 5-man rush. Burmeister escapes out to the right towards the sideline, throws high, and it will just barely get over the head of DeCorian Patterson on the sideline, who almost made a leaping interception over towards the Middle Tennessee bench.
Patterson had 1 interception last year. Even if he did come out with that one, it looked like he was going to be out of bounds, but a good play by Patterson to try to make a play on the ball at least.
Patterson been one of the top corners for Middle Tennessee for the last 2 seasons. His lone career pick came against Troy last year. 2nd and 10 from the Middle Tennessee 35. Burmeister slaps the hands together, now gets the snap, draw play, slips a tackle in the backfield. He's up towards the 25, dives forward, and gets the first down after the injury. No fear from Braxton Burmeister there going forward to get that 11-yard gain.
And Braxton Burmeister has become a rushing quarterback, which we did not expect coming into this season. Burmeister with a net of 14 yards. When he has positive yardage, he's gained 27.
They'll spread it out here on first down from the 24. Burmeister gets the snap, throws out left side. It's Blackshear in the flat, and he will move through some tackles and get inside the 20. And actually, that is Tavion Robinson once again who's able to make the play, and he is inside the red zone. Ball will be spotted at the 17-yard line. Whistles blowing. Timeout being called by the head referee today, Mike Roche.
Interesting play. I think it was just to get Jonathan Butler, number 4 for Middle Tennessee, which is Butler, off the field.
Hokies now have 2nd and 3 from the 17. Burmeister hands off. This is Keyshawn King, who fights forward across the 15-yard line, and he will get the first down right at the sticks. Hokies will have 1st and 10 from the 14.
Hokies have really seemed to settle in after their first few drives. They know how to gain yardage against Middle Tennessee, and they're taking advantage of that.
Just over 3 minutes gone in the second quarter. 7-0 Virginia Tech leads. Trying to take advantage of the long punt return from Tavion Robinson. Burmeister in the shotgun. Bunch formation with the ball on the left hash. Fake handoff King. Throw out flat for Tavion Robinson. Able to stay on his feet, getting by Blankenship, but Great will combine with Trey Fluellen to get him at the 12-yard line. A short gain for Virginia Tech. Believe that will be a 2-yard gain for Robinson. Makes it 2nd and 8 at the 12. Robinson now with 3 catches for 15 yards and the touchdown reception. 2nd and 8 from the 12-yard line. Burmeister in the shotgun. Holston to his right. 3 receivers in the formation. Caleb Smith to the near side to the boundary. Robinson and Turner split out to the right. Snap. Handoff left side. This will be Holston, who finds a big gap, but it closes quickly as he is thrown down after a gain of about 1. The cornerback, Teldrick Ross from Macon, Georgia, got his shoulder into the legs of Jalen Holston, brings him down, and now it'll be 3rd and 7 for the Hokies at the 11-yard line.
They're actually going to mark that as a loss, make it 3rd and 9.
Wow. Drop that back to the 13. Just about 5 minutes into the second quarter, Virginia Tech leads 7-0 over Middle Tennessee here on 3304 Sports. Big play coming here as the Hokies would love to cash in. Burmeister in the shotgun. 3 receivers in the formation. Snap. A lot of pressure coming from the Blue Raiders. Picked up well. Now Burmeister flushed out right. Throws towards the end zone, and that will get out of play as Burmeister just got it away. Late flag comes in, and I believe that's going to be roughing the passer on Braxton Burmeister.
Looked to be a very late hit by Jonathan Butler. He was the only player in blue.
And that is a big call there. It's going to be number 0, Rich Kinley, the redshirt freshman from Memphis, Tennessee. A second-generation Blue Raider after his father, Richard Sr., played in Murfreesboro from 1987 to 1990, and a huge mistake there from Rich Kinley, as that'll set up the Hokies inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal.
And they're hearing it from the students section as well.
And we are going to see Conor Blumrick come into the game for the first time, the transfer from Texas A&M. He has seen time at many different positions, including tight end, and he is the quarterback on this snap. Turner comes in motion. He will fake the handoff. Blumrick's going to carry it right up the gut. He dives forward inside the 5, but taken down at the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal.
I was not expecting this from Conor Blumrick, but this is the exact same strategy that the Hokies had a couple seasons ago with Quincy Patterson, making the change to put Patterson in the game only to have him rush the ball.
Wearing the same number 4 that Patterson did over the last 2 years. Patterson had a couple of big games, namely a 6-overtime victory against North Carolina 2 seasons ago. Blumrick is back once again. This time he'll hand it off. It's James Mitchell on the tight end jet sweep. He leaps towards the end zone but comes up a yard short as he is speared at the 1. Mitchell doesn't seem to be feeling too good after that one. I believe that was Greg Great who came across and made the stop.
And Greg Great making himself an enemy of Lane Stadium as 2 hits by him. Granted, both of those turned out to be clean hits, however, injuring both now Braxton Burmeister and James Mitchell.
Mitchell will walk off the field under his own power. 3rd and goal from the 2. Hokies already up 7-0, 6 minutes into the second quarter. Blumrick in the shotgun. In motion comes Robinson. Handoff. No, he kept it. Blumrick across the goal line. Touchdown. The Hokies strike once again using the unconventional quarterback back there. He gets pay dirt. It is 13-0 Virginia Tech.
In your debut as a Hokie, Conor Blumrick comes in, Texas A&M now at Virginia Tech, and scoring in, I believe that was his first 3 plays under center.
Blumrick comes in and makes a great play, makes it 13-0, 9 minutes to go in the first half. John Parker Romo trying to tack on the extra point, and he does, as it is right down the middle into the north end zone student section. 14-0 Virginia Tech the score after Conor Blumrick cashes in on a 2-yard run on 3rd and goal. We will take a break here on 3304 Sports and be back with more Virginia Tech and Middle Tennessee here from Lane Stadium right after this. Virginia Tech takes their lead to 14-0 on a run from Conor Blumrick, 2 yards out, and he finds pay dirt. Hokies extend their lead to double digits, and now they'll kick it back to Middle Tennessee, who has yet to cross midfield in this game. Hokies defense looking as dominant as they did last week. John Parker Romer ready to boot it away once again. Jalen Lane, the freshman, waits back. He'll have a chance at this one once again, and he will let it go over his head. Bounces through the Owen Hokies and back towards the north end zone. And the Hokies players will go and hype up the student section before this big defensive drive as the Hokies are trying to pull away here before halftime. 14-0, 8:55 to go in the second quarter.
For Middle Tennessee, they're really going to have to rely on Bailey Hockman. He's 5 for 7 today, has a long pass of 15 yards that was on that 3rd and 25. But we've seen that Hockman is able to throw the ball better than he did last year. I say let Hockman air it out. He's 5 for 7. See what he can do trying to gain first downs instead of short yardage.
Hockman will have his chance here in the shotgun. Rasul to his left. He will take the snap. Now throws out. It's actually Mobley out of the backfield. He slips one tackle and now brought down the combination of Dorian Strong and Dax Hollyfield. And he is across to the 36-yard line. A first down for Middle Tennessee. And another white jersey down on the field. Believe that's cornerback Dorian Strong. Hokies' luck with injuries not quite as good today as it was against North Carolina. I've already seen 3 key players go down. Braxton Burmeister, although he has returned. James Mitchell came up a little bit limp on the last drive offensively, and now Dorian Strong being attended to by trainers on the far side at the 35-yard line.
And Strong is, again, another player that you would hate to lose for Virginia Tech. Played last year, technically still a freshman due to COVID protocols and how the NCAA handled that, from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Has really been one of the better defensive backs as a true freshman. Last year seemed to be starting to make his impact felt both again in the UNC game last Friday and today. So really tough to see him laying there between the 30 and 40.
Strong really got thrown into the action as a true freshman, making his first start in Game 3 against Duke due to COVID problems. And Strong only was given 2 offers as a high schooler, one from Virginia Tech, the other Delaware State. So far from being a highly recruited player, but he has been developed and turned into a solid player defensively for Virginia Tech, as he is now walking off under his own power, maybe favoring that left leg a little bit. But he walks across the field, and we will take a break here on 3304 Sports. And actually, we're going to stay right here as Middle Tennessee is retaking the field. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Blue Raiders from their own 36-yard line. Virginia Tech, the defense has given up just a couple of first downs in this game, forcing punts on each of the first 3 Blue Raiders possessions.
And Jake, I said this a little bit earlier, but Hockman's got to throw the ball for first downs. And they must have heard me from up here in the booth, because an 11-yard pass for a first down on first down from Hockman. And I believe if Middle Tennessee wants to get back in this game, they're going to have to rely on Hockman, who does have Power 5 and ACC experience.
Hockman, again, a highly recruited player out of high school. The 186th ranked player, started his career at Florida State, then transferred to Hutchinson Community College before spending some time in Raleigh with North Carolina State, and now finishing his career in Murfreesboro with the Blue Raiders. An ACC caliber talent. Hokies hoping they can continue to shut him down as he's completed 6 passes, 48 yards to 5 different receivers. 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. 14-0 Hokies lead with 8:48 to go in the first half. Hockman in the shotgun. Ball on the left hash as Blue Raiders move towards the south end zone. 3 receivers in the formation. Hockman takes the snap. Fakes the handoff. Now the lefty takes a 3-step drop. Throws deep down the sideline, going right after Strong's replacement. A leaping attempt, but it is dropped, and it falls out of bounds. In coverage was Nadir Thompson, and Isaiah Gathings, the wide receiver, was unable to bring in the leaping catch down the left sideline.
Just an overthrow from Hockman. Not much you can do about that, especially when you're airing it out that much for the first time in the game. You need to get warmed up on those bigger throws.
Hockman will be in the pistol, moves his tight end to the left side. Handoff, left it's Mobley, and he is brought down immediately in the backfield. Dox Hollyfield comes across the line of scrimmage and wraps him up for a 2-yard loss. And Hollyfield really finally getting to step into the role that he was recruited here to play at that Mike linebacker after Rayshard Ashby graduated last year, and a good play there for the man out of Shelby, North Carolina.
Hollifield really stepped up, including an interception against UNC, his first since 2019.
3rd and 11. Hokies show pressure up the middle here with Alan Tisdale. Now Hockman will look over and figure out how he's going to deal with it. From their own 35, ball on the left hash. Hockman with one running back to his left, 3 receivers in the formation. Snap. Drops back, throws right side, has his receiver out there, brought in with the fingertips before being knocked out of bounds by Armani Chapman. Jalen Lane gets close to the first down marker, but I believe he is just going to be a yard short, if that. It'll be 4th and short for Middle Tennessee from their own 46-yard line. And it looks like Hockman coming off the field. We will see Mike DeLiello come in, and he'll set up outside. It'll be a Wildcat formation here. Middle Tennessee going to try and convert. 4th and 1 on their own 45.
And it looks like it could be Mobley taking a direct snap.
Wildcat formation for Mobley. Runner comes in motion, fakes the handoff. Mobley has room, he's got the first down, pushing the pile up towards midfield before finally being thrust back. And his forward progress will get him to that midfield stripe and gives a first down to Middle Tennessee.
Smart play by Middle Tennessee, taking Hockman off. Virginia Tech could have been tricked into thinking that they were going to go with the punt, but the direct snap and run by Chaton Mobley. A very good play, especially after he lost a few yards earlier in the set of downs.
1st and 10 from midfield. Hockman back on the field with 4 receivers split out in the formation. Snap, 3-man rush, slipping through comes a Hokies defender. Throw out to the left side, and Chapman able to knock it free from Jalen Lane, who leaped to grab it. Lane is still down on the field on the far sideline, as it looked like he got tied up with Armani Chapman, who had a great game against North Carolina, continuing that today.
And Jalen Lane, you mentioned the now injured Middle Tennessee Blue Raider, lying on that 42-yard line in Virginia Tech territory. Lane, the freshman out of Clover, South Carolina, how about this? He owns every receiving record at his high school, playing under his dad, Brian, for Clover High School. So really a big receiving target for Bailey Hockman and the Middle Tennessee Blue Raider offense. And really unfortunate to see him go down, as he's now being helped by, it seems, 4 to 5 doctors, 4 doctors for Middle Tennessee that traveled up from Murfreesboro.
Lane has gotten a lot of run in this game, the punt returner, the kick returner, and has gotten a lot of offensive snaps as now he is up and walking on that Middle Tennessee sideline. Lane led the way for Middle Tennessee against Monmouth last week, 4 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. And the Blue Raiders hoping that he is okay. They have now gotten up to midfield for the first time today after the first down conversion on 4th and 1 from Chaton Mobley. And Tyler, offensive coordinator Brent Dearman, he was hired in January, coming over from Kansas after 2 seasons, the former Bethel College head coach, and he's done a good job for Middle Tennessee. A bold play call there on 4th and 1, but it pays off.
Yeah, and it seems like Dearman is still getting into that role, but as a first-season offensive coordinator for Middle Tennessee and scoring 50 points, albeit against an FCS opponent, it really shows what he can do for this Blue Raider offense. And although they've been off the scoreboard so far, I've really liked what Dearman's been doing for the Blue Raiders so far against this highly touted Virginia Tech defense.
Justin Hamilton's group really struggled last year, a lot of COVID issues on that defensive side. And Hamilton himself even had COVID issues. He missed the first 2 games of his tenure as the Hokies DC, taking over for legendary defensive coordinator Bud Foster. And Hamilton finally getting a full spring, a full fall to really implement his system. Seems like it's paid off. Hokies have only allowed 10 points in about 6 quarters of football this season. Ready to resume play. 6:41 remaining in the first half. Virginia Tech leads 14-0 after a slow start. 2nd and 10 from midfield. Bailey Hockman will line up in the pistol. Running back dots the formation behind him. 3 receivers in the group. Handoff right up the middle, and now Alan Tisdale comes in and makes the stop. 32, Martel Petaway was given the ball there. The redshirt senior standing at just 5'9". He did not gain any yardage right up to the midfield stripe, and the ball will sit right in the middle of the VT logo here at Lane Stadium. 3rd and 10 from midfield. Hokies up 14-0, about to cross the 6-minute threshold in the second quarter. Hockman brings a receiver in motion, now gets the snap, drops back, pressure comes off the left edge, has a receiver wide open down the sideline. It's caught inside the 30, up across the 25 before finally being brought out of bounds. Jaron Pierce on the catch. Biggest play today for Middle Tennessee, and now they're in business trying to cut into this Hokies lead.
One person I'm surprised we haven't seen yet is Frank Peasant, number 36 for Middle Tennessee. The running back hasn't gotten any time yet.
5 carries, 27 yards last week against Monmouth, the former 3-star recruit from Pensacola, Florida. Timeout called on the field, just under 6 minutes remaining in this second quarter, and Middle Tennessee finally starting to get something going offensively. The Hokies burning their second timeout of the half, trying to regroup here as Bailey Hockman and the Blue Raiders finding some success. A 4th down conversion on this drive, and then the big play, a broken coverage, left Jaron Pierce, the redshirt senior, all alone.
And like I kept mentioning earlier this drive, Bailey Hockman needs to be able to throw that ball long distances. He overthrew his receiver on that first attempt, warming up, getting back into it, and being able to make a big play all the way down to the 23-yard line. That ended up being a 27-yard reception for Jaron Pierce, the longest so far today for the Blue Raiders.
His second catch of the day. Pierce, last year, honorable mention, All-Conference USA. 1st and 10 from the 23. Hockman takes the snap, throws left side, just past the outstretched arm of Jermaine Waller, and caught inside the 10-yard line. And that'll be 1st down. Jimmy Marshall, the senior out of Macon, Georgia, with his second big catch of the day, and now 1st and goal for Middle Tennessee. Trying to get on the board for the first time. Hockman in the shotgun. Mobley to his right. Snap, looking left, now pressure right up the middle, evades the diving tackler, rolls out left and throws just into the sideline as he'll just get rid of it to avoid the sack there. Jordan Williams, the Clemson transfer, came free right up the middle and forced him out of the pocket. Brings up 2nd and goal from the 5.
Williams has done an excellent job as that Clemson transfer. Got to play under Dabo Sweeney and getting some national appearances. Has really stepped up, had a big game against UNC last week.
2nd and goal from the 5. Hockman in the shotgun. 3 down linemen for the Hokies. They'll send pressure. Fade to the left corner of the end zone. It is caught. Did he get the feet down? He did not, says the back corner judge, as C.J. Wyndham, the senior, almost made a toe-tapping grab in the back left corner of the end zone to get Middle Tennessee on the scoreboard.
And great pass coverage from Jermaine Waller as well to be able to make that play to force the Blue Raider out of bounds so that he could not make a toe-tap touchdown.
Play will be reviewed here. See if Wyndham was able to make the grab in that back left corner of the end zone. Again, Virginia Tech up 14-0. And looking at the replay up on the scoreboard here in Lane Stadium, I think the question is whether his right foot was down when he possessed the ball. As the ball comes in, it looks like this could be overturned. Not a catch on Sundays, but on Saturdays, I believe that could be a touchdown here for the Blue Raiders.
I think the bigger question right now is whether or not he had full possession of the ball before going out of bounds. But I think you're right. I think we could be seeing this one overturned. Middle Tennessee could come within a score.
Score is 14-0 Virginia Tech. 5:17 remaining in the first half. Virginia Tech, again, we mentioned it. The key here in this game, avoiding the trap game and the upset with two rivalry matches sandwiched around this matchup with the Blue Raiders. Hokies took care of North Carolina last week, 17-10. A trip to Morgantown to face West Virginia next week. Seems like the Hokies have been able to focus in and take this game pretty seriously, up by 2 scores.
And hear me out on this, but this could be a trap game for Middle Tennessee. You put all your effort into playing a Power 5 opponent, a ranked opponent in Virginia Tech. Next week, you're on the road in San Antonio to start CUSA play against the Roadrunners. So for Middle Tennessee, you can't put all of your effort and all of your game planning into your one Power 5 opponent. You still have a chance to win the CUSA championship, and that starts with your first CUSA game next week in San Antonio.
Well, we have our call, and the play has been overturned. It is a touchdown. C.J. Wyndham brings in the 5-yard reception from Bailey Hockman and makes it 14-6. Virginia Tech still leads, but Middle Tennessee on the board for the first time today. Zeke Rankin, the freshman from Alcoa, Tennessee, will come on for the extra point. Was 4 for 4 on PATs last week against Monmouth. Did not kick a field goal in that game. It will be the punter, Kyle Ulbrich, to hold as we get ready to reset here. Virginia Tech still up 14-6 in this game, and plenty of time for the Hokies to extend this lead before the halftime break. Braxton Burmeister was injured early on in the game, was able to come back in. His first play back on the field, he found Tavion Robinson for a touchdown in the back left corner of the end zone. And then we saw a strange occurrence. Conor Blumrick, guy we didn't think we may see in this game, comes in at quarterback and punches in the Hokies' second touchdown of the day, made it 14-0. But now Middle Tennessee has answered with their first score of the day, a C.J. Wyndham 5-yard touchdown catch. Now ready for the extra point. Zeke Rankin will set. Snap comes back, hold is good, kick is up, and it is through. Makes it 14-7, is now Middle Tennessee within 1 touchdown.
And for the first time, a team has scored on this Virginia Tech defense in the first half, as North Carolina went scoreless last Friday. They only scored 10 points overall. Middle Tennessee now 3 points away. And so this is where the question of, is this a trap game, comes in, where the Virginia Tech defense doesn't seem like they've been playing up to par as to where they were last week.
Hokies have now given up 118 total yards, most of those coming through the air for the Blue Raiders. Hokies offense has only put up 108, so currently the Blue Raiders outgaining the Hokies. Virginia Tech getting a little bit of a boost from some spectacular special teams. A huge kickoff return from Keyshawn King opened the game, and Tavion Robinson a long punt return as well that led to the Hokies' second touchdown of the day.
And for Hockman, 108 yards passing, destroys the 82 yards that he got all game last season with NC State.
Hokies offense will try to answer. Keyshawn King waits back for the deep kick. Here it is, end over end, back towards the end zone. King is going to take it out here across the 10. Gets a block, he's across the 20, 25, slips a tackle, but he tripped up as he falls across the 30-yard line to the 34. Late flag comes in behind the play. Believe this one may be coming back on a block in the back on the Hokies.
And that flag was thrown by our head referee.
And it'll be holding on Drake DeLulius for the Hokies during the return. Looks like it was spotted at the 27-yard line, so instead of another great start with field position for Virginia Tech across the 30, instead they will start at their own 17-yard line.
And not the greatest thing, obviously, for Virginia Tech. Seems like through the first part of this game, it was very disciplined from both sides. Since then, it's been yellow laundry all over the field.
And Virginia Tech had just 2 penalties in their game against North Carolina, so maybe a little less discipline in this game against the Blue Raiders.
4 penalties for 42 yards for Middle Tennessee, 2 for 20 for Virginia Tech.
Burmeister is back in the game. He gave way to Blumrick in the red zone last time. He looks over to his sideline to get the play. Two receivers to the near side, Robinson and Caleb Smith. Gallo in motion. Now the snap comes back. Handoff. It's Raheem Blackshear right up the middle. He's taken down as Blankenship stepped up and just got him by the shoestring. He's up across the 10 towards the 15-yard line, as that actually was spotted even further back as the Hokies started their drive at the 11-yard line.
And for Virginia Tech, they do have 5 minutes to work with. For Virginia Tech, none of their possessions have gone longer than 7:36, but that was that long touchdown drive that Braxton Burmeister was injured on.
Knox Kadum was able to lead the Hokies down the field before Burmeister came in to punctuate it with his first touchdown pass of the day. Now has 2 on the season to just 1 interception. 2nd and 6 from their own 15-yard line. Just inside the left hash, the Hokies will take the ball with the clock ticking under 5 minutes in the first half of this game. Virginia Tech leads 14-7. Burmeister in the shotgun. One running back to his right, it's Blackshear. Fakes the handoff, drops back. Looking deep downfield, has nowhere to go with it as now the pressure comes. He's flushed out to his right. Looking deep down the right sideline, throws, and that one will get into the Middle Tennessee bench. Out of bounds, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 6 for Virginia Tech. Trying to avoid a 3-and-out here would give Middle Tennessee a chance to tie it before the halftime break.
And that would be more or less disastrous for Virginia Tech. Middle Tennessee receiving the ball after the halftime break after they won the coin toss and deferred.
3rd and 6 from their own 15. Penalty on the kickoff, really hurting the Hokies, as had the play been kept clean, Virginia Tech would have started outside the 30-yard line. Burmeister in the shotgun. Again, Blackshear to his left. 4 receivers in the set. Snap, 4-man rush for Middle Tennessee. Throw deep down the left sideline. Robinson watches it sail over his head as it hits the chalk line in front of the Hokies bench down the near side. Incomplete, makes it 4th and 6 from the 15-yard line. 4:21 remaining in the first half. Middle Tennessee is going to get the ball back.
That is 2 back-to-back overthrows by Braxton Burmeister. I'm not sure what his thought process is. He has a lot of time. It was a 3rd and manageable and a 2nd and manageable. Just a bad drive overall by Braxton Burmeister.
Burmeister now 8 of 13, but for just 38 yards, his longest throw 7 yards downfield. Peter Moore's punt wobbles through the air. It's a short one, but going to get an advantage here on the bounce. It bounced just in front of midfield, rolls out inside the 40-yard line, and pretty much right at that 40-yard line is where Middle Tennessee will start with 4:10 remaining in the first half and a 14-7 Virginia Tech lead. So, Tyler, it looked like the Hokies were going to pull away, really show why they're the 19th ranked team in the country, but now Middle Tennessee a chance to tie it before halftime.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee, give them all the credit. Their defense has stepped up and stopped the Hokies, but now that Virginia Tech defense needs to say this is why Sam Howell's offense last week could only score 10 points the entire game and step up to Middle Tennessee.
Hockman in the shotgun, Rasul to his left, fakes the handoff, 3-step drop, pressure comes off the left side, throw out to the sideline, and Jimmy Marshall has it across the 45 before being pushed out of bounds by Jermaine Waller. About to the 46, it'll be a 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4 coming from Middle Tennessee.
Clock rolling at 4 minutes and counting, but Middle Tennessee has 2 timeouts to work with as well.
The Blue Raiders will go hurry up, won't huddle here. Hockman in the pistol. Just a yard behind him is Amir Rasul. Trips to the right side. No one out to the boundary. Ball on the left hash. Hockman snaps, handoff, and no, he kept it on the read option, has room out towards the sideline, and finally Nasir Peoples shoves him out of bounds. It'll be a 5-yard gain and a first down for the quarterback for Middle Tennessee. Across midfield for the 2nd time today are the Blue Raiders. 1st and 10. Middle Tennessee in Virginia Tech territory at the 49-yard line. Clock ticks under 3.5 minutes now. A 7-point Virginia Tech advantage. Hockman in the shotgun. 1 running back to his left. 4 receivers in the set. Now Mobley will move into the backfield. He gets the handoff right up the gut. Pushes the pile for a little bit, but only gets about 4 on the play before finally being brought down by a wall of white jerseys.
So with Middle Tennessee driving and a chance to tie the game heading into the locker room, the words with a ranked team that come to mind are upset alert.
Virginia Tech surely has to have that going through their mind right now. Seem to be in control, but now Middle Tennessee has quietly made this a game. Hockman in the pistol, loaded to the right. Snap. Handoff once again. This time shut down in the backfield. Amari Barno made the play, bringing down Mobley for a loss of 1. That's a great play by Amari Barno, the 6'6 defensive end, transitioning from linebacker, and the Hokies coaching staff believe he could be a high NFL draft pick in the future. Had 3.5 tackles for loss against North Carolina last week. Hokies defense trying to shut down this attempt to tie it from Middle Tennessee. 3rd and 5, ball on the 44-yard line. On the left hash, Hockman takes the shotgun snap. Looking right, throws right, has his man right at the sticks, and he's knocked out of bounds. Armani Chapman lowers the shoulder on Jalen Lane, who returns to the game. It is right at the marker, and the official will signal a first down as Lane just narrowly gets to the line to gain. Clock now under 2 minutes. It has stopped as Lane went out of bounds. 14-7 the score. Virginia Tech leads. Middle Tennessee on the Hokies 39, 1st and 10. Hockman once again in the pistol. Amir Rasul back in the game. Brings Jalen Lane in motion, fakes the handoff to him, now gives to Rasul, and he has nowhere to go. Alan Tisdale, the weak side linebacker, comes in and wraps him up. A short gain on the play. Looks like 1 for the former Florida State Seminole.
And Virginia Tech, their defense has seemed lackluster, especially in the second quarter, but Middle Tennessee's best quarter against Monmouth, quarter number 2.
Hokies currently up 14-7. They've scored a touchdown in each quarter thus far. 1:30 left in the half. Hockman in the shotgun. 4 receivers set. Fakes the handoff, throws right side. It is tipped over towards the sideline. Did he bring it in? Yes, he did. It is C.J. Wyndham, who already has a touchdown on the game. He'll get a few yards there. Looks like 5. Brings up 3rd and 4 for the Blue Raiders.
And so far, Middle Tennessee's almost taken my advice to a T in passing the ball. Virginia Tech's secondary, compared to last week, has looked awful.
124 yards for Bailey Hockman through the air. 3rd and 4 from the 33-yard line. 1:23 to go in the first half. Low snap. Hockman has nowhere to go, and he's taken down. A sack for the Hokies will end this drive. It is number 1, Chamari Connor, who came unblocked right up the gut. A huge loss on the play for Hockman all the way back to the 45. And Virginia Tech will keep the lead into the halftime locker room, it seems.
Hockman's helmet came off. That helmet rolled an additional 15 yards from where Hockman went down.
Connor looked like he was fired out of a cannon right up the middle of that line. Nobody touched him, and he takes down Hockman for a huge sack. Hokies had 6 sacks last week against North Carolina. That's their first one today. Each team now with just 1 sack. The only one for Middle Tennessee came back on the first drive of the game. 1:15 remaining in the half, and now the punt unit comes out for Middle Tennessee. Virginia Tech just called they're calling their last timeout of the day, of the half right here. So they will get the ball back with no timeouts, 1:15 remaining, and probably deep in their own territory as Kyle Ulbrich has been solid so far back there. He'll look to pin the Hokies deep.
Here's what I don't understand, Jake. They call their final timeout. There's still 75 seconds of game time on the clock. Justin Fuente has been known to be conservative with his time, wanting to go into the locker room with the lead. However, if there's a punt that goes into the end zone, that's 80 yards in 75 seconds. A tall task, yes, but if you can get down the field inside the 30, call your timeout, you could go up by 10 heading into the locker room and ensure after the first drive of the third quarter, you still have the lead getting the ball.
And that's a good point. Middle Tennessee does get the ball to start off the second half, so if we go into the halftime locker room with a 14-7 score, Middle Tennessee could easily come out, drive down the field, and make this an even game once again. Virginia Tech Hoping maybe Tavion Robinson has a little magic left at punt returner. He almost housed one that he caught inside his own 10-yard line on his last chance. A diving tackle at the 35-yard line of the Blue Raiders. The only thing that kept him from finding pay dirt there. Braxton Burmeister again has missed some time in this game, but a lackluster line. You were mentioning it, Tyler. 8 of 13, 38 yards. That is less than 3 yards per attempt for Braxton Burmeister right now.
Well, Tavion Robinson back to return. Returned one punt, lost a yard on the return. Has had 2 returns today for 60 yards combined.
Robinson was great as a freshman back there, struggled last year, and looks to be back to his great form. Ulbrich back to punt, standing just across the Virginia Tech logo at his own 42. He'll boot this one deep as Robinson waits inside his own 10. Coffin corner here towards the goal line as Robinson almost had that one touch him. Middle Tennessee will dive on it to make sure he didn't. But Robinson, not paying attention there, almost had that one hit him in the back and would have set up Middle Tennessee for points before the end of the half.
Yeah, but thankfully for Virginia Tech, Robinson not having that ball touch him, and with 1:06, no timeouts, pinned at the 4-yard line. I expect to see Jalen Olston, Raheem Blackshear, and maybe Keyshawn King just run the clock out.
Looks like Blackshear will head out there for what we assume will be the final drive of the first half. 1:06 remaining. Virginia Tech with a 14-7 lead over Middle Tennessee. No timeouts for the Hokies. The Blue Raiders with 2. Burmeister will start in the shotgun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 to each side. Snap. He will throw to start off the drive out to the right. It'll be caught for about a gain of 5 yards before finally being brought down. Trey Turner, they'll rule him down at about the 9-yard line of Virginia Tech. Hokies will have to let the clock roll. Doesn't seem like they're in any hurry here.
Really dangerous play as that pass was tipped by the line.
Burmeister on what is 2nd and 8, evades the rush. Now he's out to his left, spins, and he falls forward close to the first down marker, and he got it up to the 15. Clock will stop with 35 seconds left as they move the chains, and the Hokies starting to have a little bit of urgency here as Nick Gallo comes out on the field. Trips to the right side, shotgun snap. Burmeister brings it in. 5-man rush for the Blue Raiders. Burmeister nowhere to go downfield once again. Rolls out right, throws right sideline. Turner, did he bring it in? He did not, as both referees converge at the 35-yard line and say Turner could not reel that one in on the sideline. 13 seconds coming off the clock, down to 22 in the first half. It'll be 2nd and 10 from their own 15 for the Hokies. And Tyler, like you said, now might be the time the Hokies start to run some clock.
Yeah, if they do want to take an end zone shot, the only silver lining from that previous play was that the clock stops, but it was a tall task, especially starting from the 4-yard line.
Burmeister will stand on his own 5, shotgun. Blackshear to his left. 3 receivers set, snap, drops back, he'll throw again, left sideline, but pressure came right up the middle. He took a big hit and could not find Caleb Smith on the near side. 4 seconds off the clock brings up 3rd and 10.
You see, this is what I don't understand. There's, in my opinion, not enough time to make a play. Now with 3rd and 10, if you try to run the clock out, Middle Tennessee has 2 timeouts. Could force you to punt. Middle Tennessee could try to score a field goal before the half.
Hokies would be punting deep in their own territory. From the 15 once again, 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions from Braxton Burmeister. 4 receivers in the formation, Blackshear in the backfield. In motion comes Nick Gallo back to the far side of the formation. Snap. Handoff left side, it'll be Blackshear. Finds some room across the 20 and carries a few tacklers across the 25 before being brought down. 11 seconds on the clock. It will be a first down for the Hokies, so that takes away any threat of the Blue Raiders getting the ball back. A good run from Blackshear there. Hokies are still only at their own 26. We'll see what the plan is here with just over 10 seconds left in the half. Burmeister takes the snap, 6-man rush, throws sideline. Smith brings it in, and he got a foot down at the 38 before falling out of bounds. But that will bring us to triple zeros in the second quarter. Hokies just couldn't get that play off in time. Burmeister made the throw to the sideline, but the clock runs out, and that will take us to the halftime break. Virginia Tech was up 14-0. Middle Tennessee cuts that lead in half with a touchdown late in the second quarter. It is 14-7 heading to the halftime locker room. We'll be back with halftime coverage here on 3304 Sports, live from Lane Stadium here in Blacksburg. Halftime here at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech holding on to a 14-7 lead against Middle Tennessee. Maybe not as much as they would like heading into the halftime locker room. Still 30 minutes to play as Virginia Tech tries to avoid a trap game against these Blue Raiders, currently ranked 19th in the country. Jake Lyman here with Tyler Katz at halftime here as the Marching Virginians, the Virginia Tech Marching Band, plays below. Tyler, in this game, Virginia Tech's defense got off to a hot start, but has struggled as of late as Bailey Hockman has looked much better in a Blue Raiders uniform than he did in a Wolfpack uniform just a year ago.
Yeah, Bailey Hockman, really talk about improvement for Bailey Hockman and the entire Blue Raider defense, offense. 7 points for the Blue Raiders. Not a lot, typically not what you strive for, but against the Virginia Tech defense that we saw last week against the Tar Heels, it really is a major step up. Hockman 13 for 18, no interceptions, 124 yards and a touchdown.
For the Hokies offense, Braxton Burmeister got banged up a little bit early, took a big shot from Greg Great on a scramble. He came back through a touchdown pass, but since then, it's been a little bit off, a couple of overthrows, and just hasn't been able to get this Hokies offense going.
Yeah, for Burmeister, after that hit, I was really questioning whether or not that he would be able to come in and throw the ball like he's used to doing, especially after taking that big hit from Greg Great. Seemed to have proved me wrong on that first throw, making a touchdown pass to get the Hokies on the board for the first time. But after that, he's been making a lot of overthrows, a lot of bad decisions. He's run the ball when he's had receivers wide open, and it's really making me question how much damage that hit actually had on him. Burmeister 10 for 17, 54 yards. His longest pass of the day, 12 yards.
And that came on the last play of the first half, a throw out to Caleb Smith. Burmeister, again, he left the game, also left the game later on. Conor Blumrick comes in, kind of a Swiss Army knife for the Hokies at quarterback, comes in like you mentioned Quincy Patterson used to do, and he was able to punch one in for a touchdown. How important could that be for the Hokies in the red zone if they have a guy like that who can just run right up the gut and get the Hokies yards?
Well, the Hokies in the previous 2 seasons have been used to having, last year it was Braxton Burmeister, Quincy Patterson, and Hendon Hooker. The year before that replaced Braxton Burmeister with Ryan Willis to have 3 quarterbacks you could really turn to in different situations. Quincy Patterson was their guy for a long time to be able to run the ball. He was the main running quarterback other than Hendon Hooker. But to have Blumrick, the Texas A&M transfer, come in and be able to show off his stuff against Middle Tennessee, of course we don't know how that will look against a more formidable foe such as Notre Dame or West Virginia. But to see Blumrick being able to take reps and be able to get into the end zone for a touchdown is something really important for the Hokies. And I think later on this season, should Burmeister or Knox Kadum go down, Blumrick is a really good backup option.
And for Virginia Tech, Blumrick's touchdown was set up by a Tavion Robinson punt return. Hokies also got a big kick return from Keyshawn King to open up the game. Beamer ball is alive and well in Blacksburg today and helped the Hokies get out to this lead.
Yeah, and for Virginia Tech, it's exactly that. The returns have been incredible. Something we haven't seen so far this year. Of course, only a 1-game sample size against UNC. However, those returns didn't yield much. That first return that really gave the student section some life and the rest of Lane Stadium life ended up being a 4th and 25, I believe, on a big sack on Braxton Burmeister, pushing them back into their own territory on the 40-yard line. So yes, we can sit here and talk about returns and how great they've been for Virginia Tech, but if the offense can't replicate that, there's no point in the returns.
Well, the Hokies are hoping their offense will get going in the second half against Middle Tennessee. Virginia Tech currently clinging to a 14-7 lead over the Blue Raiders. We will take a break and come back with second half action. Tyler Katz takes over on play-by-play when we return on 3304 Sports.
Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Tyler Katz joined alongside Jake Lyman on the call here for college football on 3304 Sports. Coming back from the half, Virginia Tech leads Middle Tennessee 14-7. Virginia Tech will kick it off to begin the second half. Middle Tennessee won the toss and deferred to the second half. Just before we came back, former Hokie Bruce Arians, who's now the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Super Bowl champion in Super Bowl 55, did the stadium yell, "Let's go Hokies" chant. And the crowd may not be as big as we saw against UNC last week, but the crowd sure sounded like it was 100% full. John Parker Romo sets off, and we are underway in the second half as the Blue Raiders will let this roll into the end zone for a touchback. Virginia Tech trying to hype up the student section as Bailey Hawkman and company will set up on the 25-yard line of Middle Tennessee territory. If they go down and score a touchdown, a very good chance we could be tied between Virginia Tech and Middle Tennessee.
Well, and it took a little bit for both of these offenses to settle in, but it seems like Middle Tennessee has done the better job of it, being very efficient, making some plays downfield. They're able to cut the lead in half. They'll try and tie it up on this first possession of the third quarter.
So 1st and 10 on the 25. Bailey Hawkman under center will have two receivers to either side, including a back to his left. Hawkman gonna audible Marshall over. It will be a run off to the right side. Taking it will be number 34 for Middle Tennessee in Amir Rasul. Rasul will get around 5 yards to the 30-yard line.
Rasul has seemed to be the lead back in this game after kind of splitting carries against Monmouth.
So it'll be 2nd and 5 on the Middle Tennessee 30. Two receivers to the left side. It will be another handoff to Rasul. Rasul breaks a tackle. Will dive for the first down marker. Don't believe he'll get there as that will be 3rd down and short. Rasul opted out of the 2020 season, took a red shirt his final year at Florida State, so his first time back on a college football field in 2 years as it will be 3rd and 1 from the Middle Tennessee 34-yard line.
Good run there from Rasul, former top running back out of the state of Florida.
Hokies will bunch up. It's a pitch back over to Rasul. Rasul will find his way past the first down marker. Won't get much farther than that as a host of Hokies in on the tackle. Rasul has gotten all 3 looks so far.
Jamari Connor led the way on that stop, and he was recently named ACC Defensive Back of the Week for his performance against North Carolina, and he's had some big plays today, namely his big sack of Hawkman on 3rd down late in the first half.
Hawkman in the shotgun, 1st and 10 on the 38-yard line. Two receivers on either side of Hawkman as Marshall will shift over. Fake handoff, it will go over to Marshall, who will be taken down by number 31 for Virginia Tech in Nasir Peoples. A big gain as that will go for 8 yards, 2nd down and 2 on the Middle Tennessee 46. The Blue Raiders are driving. This is not the Virginia Tech defense we saw last week. Same formation for the Blue Raiders. Hawkman in the shotgun, back to pass. Under pressure and will be taken down. That's Dax Hollifield, joined alongside by, I believe that's Nadir Thompson. Excuse me, that will be Jordan Williams, the Clemson transfer, taking down Hawkman after a 2nd down and 2. It'll be 3rd and 11, a 9-yard loss on the sack on Hawkman.
Could be the momentum shift the Hokies need there, but got to get a big stop here on 3rd and long.
3 receivers to the left side, none to the right. On the 37-yard line, 3rd and 11. Hawkman takes a snap in the shotgun. Under pressure yet again, has to get rid of it. We'll find Jimmy Marshall on a screen. Marshall's got some blocking in a lane. He'll get into Virginia Tech territory past the 40-yard line. A first down, a beautiful play for the Blue Raiders. It'll be 1st and 10 inside Virginia Tech territory.
And the Hokies got in trouble with that play against North Carolina last week, too. A little screen out into the flats. That was the only touchdown North Carolina had last week. A tunnel screen to Josh Downs, and right there, played perfectly by Middle Tennessee to extend this drive.
It'll be 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 37-yard line. Looks like that's Chase Cunningham under center. Will hand it off to a familiar face in Amir Rasul. Rasul will gain around 3 yards. And that is Chase Cunningham, the redshirt junior out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Got some time last week against Monmouth, going 3 for 4. Rushed 2 times for 19 yards. Those 3 passes combined for 33 yards. Cunningham remains in the game. 2 receivers to either side. Secondary playing deep for Virginia Tech. It'll be another handoff, but this time it will be Rasul, caught almost immediately after the handoff. In on the tackle for Virginia Tech will be Josh Fuga, the defensive lineman.
And Dax Hollyfield also shot in there and helped make that play. He's been flying all over the field today.
As we will have a timeout for injury, there is a Hokie down on the field. Currently unable to tell who that is. It's the 3rd injury I believe we've seen on the Virginia Tech side. As after that Rasul tackle, it will be 3rd down and 8 on the Virginia Tech 35. Hokies in all white today. A white effect here from Lane Stadium, as well as Military Appreciation Day. Student section and the rest of the crowd wearing all white. The team does match: white pants, white jerseys, white helmets for Virginia Tech, contrasting well with that silver helmets, royal blue tops and bottoms for Middle Tennessee. That injured Hokie sitting on the 35-yard line, now getting up. And that will be number 41 in Jalen Griffin, the redshirt junior defensive lineman, who will walk off the field on his own power, surrounded by 2 team doctors.
Yeah, Griffin, one of the reserve edge rushers for the Hokies there. Looked like he was in some pain down on the field, but a good sign that he's able to walk under his own power back across the field to the Hokies bench.
So for Middle Tennessee, setting up 3rd down and 8 from the 35-yard line. Middle Tennessee today on 3rd downs, 5 for 9. Virginia Tech done a decent job of stopping the Blue Raiders on 3rd down.
And for the Hokies, their defense has done a great job against the run. You look at the stats, 19 carries, 17 net yards, and that does include the 2 sacks, but still a great job by the Hokies' run defense today. Surprisingly, it's been the corners who have struggled a little bit. We see Dorian Strong is back out on the field, so they've got their full group in the secondary, but Middle Tennessee's done a good job scheming some things open and making some plays downfield.
One thing we have not seen from either side is a turnover. Both teams have kept the ball until either a score or a punt. Should this be 4th down, it's not. It's 3rd down and 8. It would be a 52-yard field goal attempt. Middle Tennessee will either try to convert or make this an easier kick.
Bailey Hockman back out on the field for this play.
The Virginia Tech defense trying to get the crowd hyped up. It works to some effect. 2 receivers on both the left and right of Bailey Hockman, the redshirt junior quarterback out of Powder Springs, Georgia. It is 4th collegiate uniform for Middle Tennessee. 3rd down and 8. Takes the snap in the shotgun. Has more than enough time to throw. Now finally under pressure. Rolls out to the left side. The throw over will be tipped and intercepted at the 10-yard line. Just talked about it. Turnovers were hard to come by. Now an interception at the 10. As that one will be ruled incomplete. It looked like that one was tipped and put into the hands of the Hokies defenders. Virginia Tech coaches seemed to be a bit confused. It looked to be a pick.
Yeah, Nasir Peoples, it looked like he got his hands underneath it, but they're going to rule that it hit the turf, and now the punt unit comes out for Middle Tennessee.
Back to receive Tavion Robinson, Kyle Ulbrich. The punter will punt from midfield. Robinson setting up at the 8-yard line. Long snap, Ulbrich takes his time, finally boots it away. as this one will trickle to the 5-yard line, takes a Virginia Tech bounce, and that one will be touched at around the 6-yard line. It's been another great punt for Kyle Ulbrich, now twice pinning the Hokies inside the 10.
Yeah, he's looked good today, and that's been a large reason why Middle Tennessee has been able to stop this Hokies offense. They've been starting in the tough situation, starting inside the 20 on pretty much every drive except for those big special teams plays by King and Robinson.
Well, Braxton Burmeister will get his first opportunity in the second half as the Hokies take the field 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line. Another good punt by Kyle Ulbrich of Middle Tennessee. 3 receivers to the right, 1 will shift over. As Burmeister takes a snap, it will be a handoff, pushing Jalen Holston back. It should be a loss of yards. It looks like this one will go as no gain. Make that a loss of 1. It will be 2nd and 11 from the 6.
Yeah, great job there. Jordan Branch, the red shirt sophomore, made the stop in the backfield. 4 tackles last week against Monmouth, and there he gets a tackle for loss to start off the series.
Burmeister in the shotgun, a yard away from that goal line. Virginia Tech needs to be careful about a safety. Quick pass over to the left side. Has some room, about a yard shy. In on the reception, Trey Turner. For Turner, that's going to be his 3rd reception of the day, making that number 101 in his Virginia Tech career.
Turner has done a good job over the last couple of games. He had a big day against North Carolina last Friday, helped set up the Hokies' second touchdown that got them up 14-0 in that game.
10-yard reception will make it 3rd and 1 from the 16. Virginia Tech bunched up under center. It'll be another handoff as a fight for a couple yards. It looks like this one will go for a first down. Jalen Holston didn't get a lot of touches in the first half. Good to see him here in the second half getting some touches. It'll be his 5th carry of the day.
Well, the Hokies list 3 starters at running back, Holston, Blackshear, and King, and we've kind of seen that rotation work like that with maybe Blackshear getting the lion's share.
Now with 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 18, 3 receivers to the right side, none to the left. A shift over onto the line as Burmeister takes a snap, looks over to his right side, will fire deep, wide open, Trey Turner has the catch at midfield, breaks a tackle to the 40 and will finally be taken down. A big play for Trey Turner. In on the stop is Tedrick Ross, the safety for Middle Tennessee, and that's the big play the Hokies have been looking for.
Yeah, the Hokies really needed to start airing it out. We mentioned Braxton Burmeister's longest pass ahead of that one, 12 yards. He finally gets one downfield, maybe a little bit underthrown to Trey Turner, but a huge play has the Hokies across the 40-yard line.
Turner dodged a tackle from Greg Great. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Middle Tennessee 35. Takes a snap, rolls over to his right side, will decide to take it himself. Gets to the 35, now the 30-yard line, breaks the tackle, will step out of bounds at the 29. A good run by Braxton Burmeister, and that's one thing Virginia Tech has been doing more recently with Hendon Hooker, Quincy Patterson in the past, now Braxton Burmeister, of making that quarterback a dual threat.
And Burmeister, they were clocking the speeds in fall practice of all of their players, and Braxton Burmeister, surprisingly, the fastest player on those GPS devices that the Hokies have their players wear.
22.5 miles per hour, the top speed from Braxton Burmeister. 2nd and 4 on the 29. Burmeister takes a snap. Will hand it off to Jalen Holston. Holston breaks a tackle. Wide open. 10-5 touchdown, Virginia Tech. As Skipper fires again from a touchdown run by Jalen Holston. Broke a couple of tackles. And there was no one between him and the goal line as the Hokies score and make it 20-7 pending the extra point.
And that was really just blocked up well by the Hokies offensive line. Holston hurdled one tackler, not hurdled a tackler, but hurdled an arm and slipped the tackle, and he had nothing in front of him except the end zone. He was able to get there, and the Hokies finally extend their lead back.
John Parker Romo 4 for 4 on extra points this season. Snap, hold, kick, and make it 5 for 5 as it splits the uprights 21-7 Virginia Tech with 7:52 to remaining in the third quarter. Virginia Tech answers on their first possession of the third quarter. We'll take a break and be back here. Middle Tennessee tries to respond when we come back. College football here on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to 3304 Sports. Tyler Katz joined alongside Jake Lyman here from Lane Stadium. A touchdown try for Virginia Tech makes it 21-7 in favor of the 19th ranked team in the country in the Virginia Tech Hokies. A 29-yard touchdown run by Jalen Holston gets him in the end zone. For the first time this season, the redshirt junior out of Stockbridge, Georgia scored, but what really set that up was a 47-yard pass to Trey Turner that really set the pace for the rest of that drive.
Yeah, the Hokies finally opened it up, made some plays downfield, and then Holston caps it off with a touchdown run. Took just 6 plays to go 93 yards for Virginia Tech, and I think maybe that was the conversation with Brad Cornelson in the halftime locker room.
John Parker Romo kicks this one off, as it will be a fair catch in the end zone by Middle Tennessee, and for the second time this half, the Blue Raiders will set up on their own 25-yard line as the Virginia Tech kickoff unit tries to hype up the student section who have remained here through halftime as their team now holds a 14-point lead over Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, still a pretty good group of students in the stands. It seems like everywhere else is cleared out a little bit, but a decent crowd. Hokies hoping that they can keep this momentum rolling. It seemed like it really shifted when the Hokies got that stop on the last drive, and now a chance to maybe open this up a little bit more in the third quarter.
Hawkman. No, excuse me. This is Chiton Mobley in that same formation we saw earlier. Mobley looks like he's going to take the direct snap. Mobley will take it himself. Virginia Tech seems ready for it, and they are. A big stop by Chamari Connor on the direct snap by Chiton Mobley. The redshirt junior out of Knoxville, Tennessee, was successful on the first iteration of that play, not so successful on try number 2.
Yeah, Chamari Connor has been great so far today. He's usually a little bit more of a liability in coverage, but he's done a great job getting into the backfield and making some stops.
It was Bailey Hawkman. Now will be Mike DeLello. As he takes a snap, third quarterback to see action. It will be a direct snap at quarterback keeper by DeLello as he gets out to the 40-yard line. A good play for the Blue Raiders. Not something that we expected. We saw Hawkman come out and take the field. He was then swapped out for the third-string quarterback. Hawkman now back under center at the 41st and 10 Blue Raiders.
Well, against Monmouth, the Blue Raiders played 38 players on offense, including 3 quarterbacks, so not so surprising here against the Hokies.
First and 10 on the 40. Hawkman in the shotgun will throw over the middle to a wide-open receiver. Trying to get to the 50, he does. Stepping out of bounds will be Jaron Pierce. Has caught now at least one pass in 23 consecutive games.
That's his third catch of the day. Now over 30 yards. Jimmy Marshall leading the way for this Blue Raiders team.
In Virginia Tech territory on the 49, it will be a handoff to Mobley. Mobley can't go much farther than a 3-yard gain. Blue Raiders in Virginia Tech territory yet again, as this one will be a 3-yard gain to make this 2nd down and 7 on the Virginia Tech 46.
Yeah, and that rotation, Rasul and Mobley has kind of been the MO for this team as they've come in and out, and each had some success.
Just under 6 to go in the third quarter, 21-7 Virginia Tech. Offensive line not set. Now they will be as Hawkman goes back under center. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The 1 receiver to the left will go to the right side. Hawkman back to pass. Will decide to take it himself. Won't be caught until now. A quarterback hurry by Dax Hollifield as this one will be spiked into the ground. Looks to be intended for Isaiah Gathings.
And we see a younger player coming in off the edge there. That's Cole Nelson, the freshman, standing at 6'3", 238. Thought he might get some run in this game, and he came flying off that left side, forced Hawkman to escape the pocket.
It'll be now 3rd down and 7, a key play as some of the home supporters shake their car keys. Hawkman standing in between the V and the T at midfield. Claps a couple times, 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right. It will be a handoff to Mobley. A flag on the play. False start will be called on Middle Tennessee.
And you can tell the crowd, despite being a little bit smaller than we're used to here in Lane Stadium, still getting into it, forcing that false start there as again, Middle Tennessee doesn't have to deal with environments like this very often, and their Hokies finally force a penalty and send them back for a 4th and 12.
2 false starts induced by this Virginia Tech crowd last week, 1 today. That'll make it 3rd and 12 from the Middle Tennessee 49, back in their own territory. Hockman takes a snap in the shotgun, back to pass, will throw over the middle. This one will be picked off. It's going the other way. It's Jermaine Waller. Waller to the 35 and is finally tackled at the 30-yard line. A takeaway for Jermaine Waller, silencing Middle Tennessee's offense. And it's going the other way. Braxton Burmeister takes the field, courtesy of Jermaine Waller.
And 2 years ago, Waller and Caleb Farley, who was a first-round pick of the Tennessee Titans this year, they made up the best cornerback duo in the ACC. Waller was only able to play in 2 games last year, but he has looked just as good as advertised here in 2021, an interception against North Carolina, and follows that up with a repeat performance here against the Blue Raiders.
A 30-yard interception return. Waller caught it at the 39-yard line. Took it all the way down to the MTSU 31. That's where Braxton Burmeister and co. will set up shop, trying to break this game open. They currently lead by 14, 21-7. Virginia Tech leading with 5:25 to go. As we'll take a break, Virginia Tech will come back, trying to extend their lead to 21 points. They currently lead 21-7 here from Lane Stadium on 3304 Sports. Virginia Tech has the ball with Braxton Burmeister under center after a Jermaine Waller interception return to the Middle Tennessee 31, and that's where the Hokies set up shop. 5:25 to go, Virginia Tech 21, Middle Tennessee 7. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. On the right hash mark, Burmeister in the shotgun. Claps his hands, no snap. Does it again. This time the ball comes out. It'll be a handoff to the running back, as that one will be Keyshawn King. King can't get much more than a yard, as I believe that one will go for no gain. 2nd down and 10 on the 31.
And the Blue Raiders seemed to be ready to bring pressure there, whether it was a pass, and they were ready for that one as they brought all the heat off that left side, nowhere for him to go.
So for Virginia Tech, trying to gain some yardage, this could at least turn into a scoring drive. Should they get into field goal range, Burmeister looks to his left side, will roll and take the ball himself to the 30, 25, 20. Will finally be tackled rolling at the 15 towards the 11. 1st down for the Hokies. Now it's a question of where they'll spot the ball. It'll be at the 13.
Good job improvising there by Burmeister. Tavion Robinson had escaped, and he was wide open in the middle of the field, but no guarantee if Burmeister is going to be able to make that throw on the run. Did a good job of getting the 1st down, and now at the 13-yard line.
So they'll set up at the 13-yard line, 13 yards away from making this a 21-point game, pending an extra point. They currently lead 21-7 with just over 4 to play in the 3rd quarter. 2 receivers to the left side. It'll be a throw over to the right, a screen play, and unable to come up with it for the Hokies is Nick Gallo, the tight end, coming in place of James Mitchell.
Yeah, Burmeister, that's just a missed throw there, but even if he made that play, Greg Great was ready to make another hit, and he's already injured 2 Hokies in this game. Maybe better that one fell incomplete.
Great playing that free safety's position, standing on the right hash mark at the 3-yard line. Hokies will set up in between the 2 hash marks, 2nd down and 10 on the 13. 3 receivers to the left, making it 1 to the right. It will be a quarterback keeper for Burmeister. Burmeister takes it over to the 7-yard line. Being taken down, it will be 3rd down and short. Another run for Burmeister. He's been having a successful game on the ground. That's his 7th carry. Unfortunately, some sacks involved. He has 39 net yards. If you only take the positives, he has 52 yards that he's gained on the ground. And
that was a cool play call from Brad Cornelson, a little triple option. Fake the handoff to the running back, and Tavion Robinson was ready for the pitch if Burmeister elected to give it.
So it'll be 3rd and 3 on the 6-yard line. Hokies knocking at the door. Trey Turner in motion will go from left to right, back over to the left. Burmeister takes a snap, will hand it off, heading towards the 1-yard line at the goal line, into the end zone. Touchdown, Raheem Blackshear finds the zone. 27-7 Virginia Tech has blown this game wide open here in the third quarter. Seems to be a bit of extracurriculars between the two teams in the end zone. Officials trying to separate the Hokies in white and the Blue Raiders dressed in blue. John Parker Romo comes out for an extra point as the Hokies have now taken a 27-7 lead, and it could be 28 with a successful try by Parker Romo. And John Parker Romo splits the uprights 28-7 with 3:16 to play. Middle Tennessee going to be desperate for answers when they get the ball back. Bailey Hawkman, who had a very good first half, seeming to struggle here in half number 2. And Jake, it seems like for Middle Tennessee, they've been focusing a lot more on the running game in this second half. What does Middle Tennessee have to do to get back in this game now, especially down by 21 points?
Well, I think they got away from what allowed them to get back in this one. They fell behind 14-0, and then they were really able to open it up. A couple of big plays, including the one down the sideline to Jaron Pierce from Bailey Hawkman. They scored through the air, but yeah, I agree. You look at Rasul and Mobley. They've combined for a total of just 32 yards on 17 carries. Has not been great for those guys, and the Hokies have been there. Hawkman's going to have to make plays if they want to cut into this deficit.
John Parker Romo puts the ball on the tee, has been the kickoff man for the Hokies for a few years now taking the spot of the place kicker, as we saw in the extra point. As John Parker Romo boots that one away, it's a shorter kick, as this one will be received by Amir Rasul. Rasul will take it out to the 23-yard line before being met a hard hit by Chamari Connor. And his teammates will hype up Connor on the tackle as they will set up at the 24-yard line, a yard shy of where they would have been had they let it go into the end zone.
And Chamari Connor, I think the one way you can describe him, he is playing fast today. He's been all over the field, lighting up a lot of Blue Raiders, whether that's on offense or on special teams. Chamari Connor may be considered a liability in coverage at times, but he has looked good all over the field today.
A tall task for the Blue Raiders today as it once again will be DeLeo under center. Excuse me, that is Hawkman. A fake jet sweep on the run up the middle. This one will be Rasul yet again. Rasul breaks a tackle. A good run for Rasul, but will be stopped at around the 27-yard line.
And Nasir Peoples made the tackle. That's another guy who's flashed a lot. Devin Hunter was listed as the starter heading into the season at that boundary safety position, but Peoples had 63 of the 65 snaps against North Carolina, and he's been on the field all day today as well.
Two receivers on either side of Bailey Hawkman with one back behind him. In the shotgun, 2nd and 5. A quick throw over to the right side. This one will find Jimmy Marshall. Marshall fights towards the first down. Marker will be a yard shy. Make it 3rd down and 1 on the 32-yard line, still in Middle Tennessee territory. 28-7, Virginia Tech leading with under 2:30 to play in the third quarter.
This is a big drive for the Blue Raiders. Still not technically out of this game, but if the Hokies get a stop and a score here, they might as well start warming up the bus.
3rd down and 1. A shift over on another fake jet sweep. Whistles will come before the play as a timeout will be called by Middle Tennessee. That's their first of the second half. And this entire game from both sides, we've been seeing timeouts called in non-traditional spots. Typically, we see a lot of coaches save all 3 timeouts for the final minute should it come down to that. We've been seeing the opposite today where they may be more strategic and stretched out across the game.
Yeah, both teams in the first half were quick to use their timeouts. The Hokies got the ball back with 1:15 and didn't have any remaining. Virginia Tech's been able to hold on to all 3 of theirs, but Middle Tennessee wastes one. Again, Hokies starting to pull away, but if this does get tightened up a little bit, maybe that's a big timeout that Middle Tennessee doesn't have.
Well, Middle Tennessee trying to upset the 19th ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. Elsewhere across the country, top 25 teams in action, including a big upset in Columbus, Ohio. Number 12, Oregon taking down number 3, Ohio State, 35-28. And we could be looking at an upset alert in South Bend. Toledo leads number 8, Notre Dame, 16-14 at the half.
Wow, that's a big one. Virginia Tech will welcome the Fighting Irish in less than a month to Lane Stadium.
3rd down and 1 on the 32. Takes the snap. It will be a handoff to Mobley. Mobley seems to get past the 1st down marker. And indeed they will. 1st down for the Blue Raiders. Jachan Mobley has really impressed today. Only 4 carries for 24 yards with a touchdown against Monmouth. Has stepped into a much bigger role here against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Mobley in his freshman season ran for over 600 yards, was named to the Conference USA All-Freshman team, but since then, less than 600 yards in his last 2+ seasons, so he hasn't been able to repeat that production that he had in his first season in Murfreesboro.
So it'll be 1st down and 10 on the Middle Tennessee 34. Hawkman in the shotgun. One receiver to his left. Some orders as that receiver will now go behind him. Hawkman rolls over to his left side. Will find a receiver, but it will be tipped away. Good pass coverage by Virginia Tech, and knocking that one away, Dorian Strong.
Dorian Strong was banged up early in the game, but he makes a nice play there. The freshman who was thrown into the fire last season makes a nice stop. Some good pressure from Mario Kendricks up the middle as well, the sophomore from Kissimmee, Florida.
It'll be 2nd down and 10 as Hawkman now 17 for 26 after the incompletion. Minute 17, clock is stopped. 3 receivers to the left make it 2 as one shifts over to the right side. Hawkman under pressure a bit, but will have time to throw to a wide open receiver. Has his man, stays in bounds. And now called out of bounds, a beautiful throw and catch. That's Elijah Metcalf making the catch for Middle Tennessee. I believe that's the first time we've said his name today.
Metcalf, the true freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, had 1 catch against Monmouth for just 4 yards, but he got behind the Hokies defense there.
It'll be 1st and 10 in Hokies territory at the 40-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, none to the right. It will be a handoff to Rasul. Rasul breaks a tackle, breaks another, gets a 5-yard gain out to the Virginia Tech 35. Looks like Middle Tennessee could finally get some points here in the second half.
And that's a tough play for the Hokies defense, as both of their defensive tackles, Williams and Fuga, came free up the middle but were unable to bring down Rasul, and he gets 5 yards on the play.
2nd and 5 on the 35. Just 24 seconds remain in this 3rd quarter. Game clock is at 18. Separation of just about 2 to 3 seconds. Hawkman takes the snap. Run over to the left side by Rasul. Couldn't get there is Virginia Tech, as Rasul, I believe, will get enough for the 1st down. Fighting for the 29-yard line, and it will be a 1st down for the Blue Raiders.
And Amari Barno almost brought down Rasul in that left flat, but maybe a good job not to, because I think he would have been called for a horse collar tackle if he had grabbed. Instead, he pulled his arms back, let Peoples make the tackle on the sideline.
And that will allow the game clock to trickle down to all zeros in the 3rd quarter. And one phrase that's been made popular around college football can finally be said here from Lane: 4's up. We'll head for the 4th quarter, 28-7 Virginia Tech when we come back here on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. 3304 Sports, Tyler Katz joined alongside Jake Lyman. Our first ever broadcast from inside a NCAA football stadium. Lane Stadium, the site for this one. As Jake, I don't know about you, but for me it's been an honor to be able to be up here calling a game from a facility such as Lane Stadium.
It's been great. Last year we had to call these games from our couches or dorm rooms or wherever we could. It's really cool to be up here in the booth and get to see it from this bird's eye view, and we hope the listeners have had some fun with us as well. Virginia Tech up 28-7, and we hope we'll be back here in Lane Stadium for the rest of the season, at the very least for Virginia Tech's home games.
Well, the 4th quarter about to get underway. Virginia Tech leading 28-7, a 14-point quarter in the 3rd. Virginia Tech and North Carolina combined for 27 points. Last week, Virginia Tech has beaten that themselves, 28 points for the Hokies so far. Currently, however, Middle Tennessee driving down the field. They set up 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 30. Just before we went away, Amir Rasul rushed for 5 yards for the 1st down. Hawkman sets up under center. We're just waiting for the green light from the officials. And we are good to go here in quarter number 4 from Lane Stadium between Middle Tennessee and Virginia Tech in the first ever meeting between the two schools. Hockman in the shotgun. Most players except for one bunched up by that offensive line. Fake jet sweep as Hockman sets back the pass, will throw over the middle. A wide open receiver diving and unable to come up with it was Isaiah Gathings. He was wide open, a little bit underthrown by Bailey Hockman, and unable to come up with it will make it 2nd and 10.
And what was really the strength of the Hokies' defense against North Carolina has kind of been their weakness. They did not give up any passes over 15 yards against Sam Howell last Friday night, and it seems like Hockman has had wide open receivers downfield all day long.
It'll be 2nd and 10, clock stop with 14:54 to play in the fourth quarter. Same formation for Middle Tennessee. And the same fake jet sweep. This one time it will be a handoff to Rasul. No, that's Mobley. Mobley gets to the 25, a 5-yard gain. Gets half the distance needed for that first down. It will be 3rd and 5 on the 25-yard line.
And it'll be interesting to see if this does go to a 4th down here, whether Middle Tennessee would elect to kick the field goal or try and get it. I think at this point in the game, down by 3 touchdowns, you got to go for it.
3rd and 5. From the 25 on the left hash mark, neighboring the Drive for 25 logo on Worsham Field. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Hockman fakes a throw and a handoff. This time he will be sacked behind the line of scrimmage, as that one will be Jordan Williams, the transfer out of Clemson, who brings down Bailey Hockman, and that will bring up a 4th and 5. I don't think it will be credited as a sack, and instead a rush for Hockman.
Yeah, and that was a broken play. Mobley ran to the wrong side, I believe, on the handoff there, and Hockman had to improvise, ended up going down for a loss of 1.
It will be no gain on the play. 4th and 5, they are going for it. Big play for the Hokies defense. And there was some motion. I believe this was on Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech pointing over to Middle Tennessee, saying it's on them. And it will be a false start on Middle Tennessee, and that is just inexcusable from the Middle Tennessee offense. You have a 4th and 5, but instead it will be a false start, pushing you back, making it 4th and 10 from the VT 30.
Yeah, that's going to be on the left tackle, Stephen Lasoya from Nashville, Tennessee. Tough one there, but a very young, inexperienced offensive line for the Blue Raiders.
4th and 10 at the 30. Middle Tennessee still going for it. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Hockman audibling on the offensive line. 8 seconds on the play clock. Receiver on the left side shifts over. Hockman back to pass, will fire to the right side. Good pass coverage and swatting it away. Middle Tennessee asking for a flag. In on the stop was Armani Chapman. No flag on the play for pass interference. Middle Tennessee was looking for it, but instead a turnover on downs will go back the way of the Hokies.
Excellent pass coverage there from Armani Chapman. He actually entered this game leading the country in yards against. When throwing into his coverage, Sam Howell threw for -5 yards last Friday night, and he has been just as good against this Middle Tennessee team tonight.
Chapman had a team-high 6 pass breakups in 2020. We'll get one there on the coverage against Hockman that forces a turnover on downs. Hokies take over with 13 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. It's 28-7. The number 19 team in the country tries to hold on for their 2nd straight win to open the season. We'll be back here on 3304 Sports. Back in Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech taking over on a turnover on downs. Bailey Hockman had an incomplete pass intended for Jalen Lane, but instead it will be the Hokies taking over. Stormtrooper uniforms on the white effect game, contrasted by blue pants, blue tops, silver helmets for Middle Tennessee. 1st and 10 for the Hokies on the Virginia Tech 30. Pass over the middle is deflected by the defensive line for Middle Tennessee, intended for Trey Turner over the middle.
Yeah, Turner was open there. Already had one big play down the field, and there, just a deep crossing route right across the Virginia Tech logo in the center of the field. Could have been at least 20 yards on the play.
Unfortunately for Virginia Tech, they'll have to wait at least one more play. 2nd down and 10. 13-11 on the clock. Virginia Tech leading by 21. People who had made bets on this game could be happy. Virginia Tech closing line favored by 20. Snap by Burmeister, looks over the middle, will fire to the left side, wide open and making the catch with room to work. And finally being taken down, Tavion Robinson with the reception. A big play for Robinson as the Hokies get another first down.
Robinson now with 4 catches today, and that was the biggest one.
Hurry up offense as a run up the middle. I believe that was Raheem Blackshear, and indeed it was. Up the middle, about a 5-yard gain, make it a 4-yard gain. It will be 2nd and 6 on the Middle Tennessee 40. Tavion Robinson on the previous play making the catch. Got reunited with his high school teammate in Jordan Williams, who plays on defense after he transferred from Clemson. Burmeister back to throw under pressure, rolls over to his right side, gets to the 45, finally fires, and it will go out of play, hitting the practice kicking net on the Virginia Tech sideline. It will be 3rd and 5 after the incompletion. Ball on the Middle Tennessee 40.
Hokies playing with some urgency on offense despite being up 21. I think that's what Justin Fuente wants. Wants to really put this one away, and maybe you can get some of the backups in for the final 10 minutes of this one.
Virginia Tech having to prepare for a road game next Saturday against the West Virginia Mountaineers. That game will be a noon kickoff on Fox Sports 1. 3rd and 5 on the 39-yard line. 2 receivers to the right side, none to the left. The throw to the left side will find the running back in Raheem Blackshear. Blackshear breaks the tackle very close to the first down marker, and the official, the line judge, will say that it is in fact a first down.
And Blackshear just ducked underneath that tackle from Teldrick Ross, the redshirt sophomore at safety. He charged on the sideline. Blackshear stopped on a dime, slipped the tackle, and gets the first down.
They'll set up 1st down and 10 on the Middle Tennessee 34. 18th first down of the game for Virginia Tech. Split yards between passing and receiving. Passing and rushing. A run over to the right side, as this one will be the backup quarterback, and Conor Blumrick towards the end zone. Dives down at the 1-yard line. Slipped under our noses as Blumrick came into the game again. Another big rush for the 3rd-string quarterback.
And they're hurrying up to the line trying to score from the 1.
Blumrick still in the game. 1st and goal on the 1. It will be a handoff into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. It's Raheem Blackshear for the 2nd time today. And if the turnover on downs did not put this game away, that touchdown sure does.
And the Hokies looking better on offense there, and seems like Blumrick may be more of a weapon than the Hokies had expected, or maybe Hokies fans had expected going in, as he has now contributed to 2 touchdown drives today.
It'll be John Parker Romo. Perfect on extra points so far today. Don't want to jinx anything as he attempts his 5th of the day, and that one will split the uprights 35-7 with 11:27 to go. Middle Tennessee almost out of this thing. They need 4 touchdowns in 11 minutes and 27 seconds. Not outside the realm of possibility, but highly unlikely. We'll take a break, be back with the Middle Tennessee drive when we come back on 3304 Sports. Back here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech with a 1-yard touchdown run by Raheem Blackshear, set up by a 33-yard quarterback keeper by 3rd-string quarterback Conor Blumrick. Not that the first 2 quarterbacks were unavailable, just strategy from Justin Fuente and Brad Cornelson to put Blumrick in the game in strategic times.
And they've used him well, and maybe putting something on tape now that teams like West Virginia and Notre Dame have to prepare for.
John Parker Romo set to kick this one off from the 35-yard line, boots it away, end over end. Fair catch called in the end zone in between the R and G in Virginia Tech in the south end zone, as Middle Tennessee will set up on the 25-yard line. 11:27 to go. And Jake, what do you expect from this Middle Tennessee offense? Down by 28 points with just under 12 to play.
I think you need a little bit more desperation. Hockman's got to be able to throw some balls deep and see if you can get anything against this Virginia Tech secondary. There's been some lapses in coverage in today's game, and Middle Tennessee, if they want to get back in it, they have to take advantage of them.
Again, 11 minutes, 27 seconds remain in today's ball game. Virginia Tech has scored a touchdown in each of the 4 quarters they've played in. Hockman will have a handoff on the first play. Looks to be no gain. Believe the carrier was number 34. It was Devin Hunter, number 7.
He made the stop on the play.
Oh, excuse me. That was Amir Rasul, the ball carrier. Hunter making the tackle for Virginia Tech. 2nd down and 10 on the 25. No gain on the run by Rasul. Throw to the right side is complete. That will go to Jimmy Marshall. Diving towards that first down marker will be shy of 2 yards. It will be 3rd down and 2 on the 33-yard line. Short plays for Middle Tennessee, not what I expected coming into this drive, down by 28. Hawkman will be in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, a back immediately behind Hawkman. Believe that's Rasul. And it will be a handoff to Rasul. Rasul fights for a couple of yards, think he got the first down, and indeed he did. A 3-yard rush will be enough for Middle Tennessee to move the chains.
And that clock keeps on rolling. Hokies have to be happy about that, just trying to run this one out up by 28. And it looks like a good amount of the reserves have come in. The only starters I can see out there are the 2 defensive tackles with Narell Pollard on the field.
Middle Tennessee obviously keeping all of their starters in if they want to try to mount a comeback. Hawkman is back to pass. Throw over to the right side, tipped, and that one was almost intercepted by number 15 and Keyshawn Artis.
And he was right there. I don't think Hawkman ever saw the linebacker just sitting right underneath that curl route from Jalen Lane at the top of the field. But Keyshawn Artis just unable to get his fingertips on that one and reel it in, what would have been the 2nd pick of the day.
2nd down and 10, clock stopped at 9:54. Receiver in motion, fake jet sweep as this one will be a run up the middle. That one looks to be Mobley, the ball carrier. And it is Mobley gaining around 3 to 4 yards. Wow, a lot less than what it looked like initially. Only a 2-yard gain for Mobley. Make it 3rd and 8 from the Middle Tennessee 38.
Clock now down under 10 minutes. Again, Middle Tennessee's got to play with some desperation here and take some shots.
2 receivers on either side of Hawkman. Takes a snap on 3rd and 8. Looks over to the left side and will fire to the left side. A receiver wide open, but overthrowing the receiver intended on the play was number 96. For Middle Tennessee, it'll be 4th down and 8, and they'll have to go for it with 9 minutes and 17 seconds remaining, and they elect not to go for it. Here comes the punting unit for Middle Tennessee. Kyle Ulbrich comes back out. Back to receive for the Hokies is Tavion Robinson.
A little surprised to see Robinson back out there. Thought maybe they'd give some younger players an opportunity to return it.
Well, with the punt by Ulbrich, as this one's going to go more Frisbee style towards the 20-yard line. Takes a good bounce, finally received by Robinson, calling for the fair catch at the 16-yard line. And that punt is pretty much the equivalent of Rick Stockstill in his 16th season for the Blue Raiders, waving the white flag.
Yeah, Virginia Tech now going to have an opportunity to run some clock. You would assume if Middle Tennessee is going to punt there, they're probably not going to be calling their timeouts, trying to get back in this game. So expect to see a heavy dose of the running backs. And looking down at the huddle near the Hokie sideline, looks like Knox Kadum may be returning to the game, and Braxton Burmeister's day might be done.
Knox Kadum is in the direct center of the Virginia Tech huddle on that 25-yard line. Unable to see right now where Braxton Burmeister is on that sideline. But also in that huddle next to Knox Kadum is Conor Blumrick.
Yeah, and would expect maybe you'll see more of Blumrick, as he has been pretty successful today. 3 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. That package could see a lot more run as we get deeper into this season.
Blumrick has had 3 carries. No passing attempts, despite being a quarterback on the Virginia Tech depth chart. 17-yard line is where the ball is spotted after the punt. 9 minutes and 8 seconds remain in the ball game. Virginia Tech again now leading by 28 points. seemed like they could be in a bit of a scary situation at halftime, leading 14-7. They've come out in the second half and completely dominated the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, and this is what I think Virginia Tech expected to do in this game, is come out and be able to get some of your backups in late. We saw on defense pretty much every single starter has been given the rest of the day off, and expect that'll be most of the case on Virginia Tech. Get some young guys some true game reps, and the Hokies can start to look forward to West Virginia next week. Top 20 team in the country, and we mentioned some upsets in front of the Hokies. Chance they could climb with a big matchup in Morgantown next week.
As both teams retake the field, we'll take you through top 25 action. Just 3 minutes and change to go in the third quarter. Toledo still leading Notre Dame 16-14. Just before halftime, Murray State in the red zone. They're tied with number 7 Cincinnati at 7 apiece.
Colorado also up 7-0 against Texas A&M just before halftime there.
And I don't think this one was any surprise. Alabama playing FCS Mercer. They lead 21-0 in the beginning of the second quarter. That one I don't think is likely to be an upset. 1st and 10 on the 17. It is Knox Kadum under center, 2 receivers, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Now the back in Keyshawn King will become a receiver as Kadum will take this one himself, fighting for the first down. Marker will be pushed out of bounds into the Middle Tennessee bench. Kadum took a second to get up, seems to be okay, and will retake the field.
Yeah, and Kadum kind of in that similar build of Braxton Burmeister. Not the biggest guy, but has some speed and can get out to that left side and make some plays.
Kadum only 1 passing attempt. It was complete for 1 yard. 2nd down and 4 after the quarterback keeper. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for Kadum. Bunch package for Middle Tennessee. A handoff will go for 2 more yards to make it 3rd down and 2.
And we thought we might see some of these younger receivers get into the game today, and they have. On the near side, you can see the freshman Jalen Jones from Richmond, and from Chesterfield, Virginia, a guy that the Hokies coaching staff has been very excited about, as now he's running off the field, but Jaden Payute, who missed all of last season due to an injury, and trying to get into the groove here early on in the season.
Previous play, a rush by Keyshawn King. 3rd down and 2 with 2 receivers to the right side. Kadum looks back to pass. Will throw over to the left side. A screen play is successful. Getting over to the 20-yard line, making the catch on that one is Keyshawn King, making another play, this time on the receiving end.
Yeah, King almost looked like he was surprised that ball came to him. Got up on him a little bit, but still able to bring the ball in and get across the 30 for a first down for the Hokies, and they'll be able to run even more clock.
At the 30-yard line, clock now under 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 40 seconds, and running. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 Gallo. Kadum rolls over to the right side, keeps looking over to the right, but will decide to take it himself, gets to the 35, and will dive for the 37-yard line. A good pickup for Kadum on the ground. It will be 2nd down and short.
And a good job to get down there by Kadum. We saw Braxton Burmeister take a big hit late early in this game, and Kadum, you don't want to lose your backup quarterback in a game you're up by 28 in with 7 minutes to go. A good job to make sure he avoided the hit.
A 7-yard run for Knox Kadum will be 2nd down and 3. They line up at the 37-yard line, still in Virginia Tech territory. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Kadum back to pass, looks over to his right side, will go to the right, has his man for a first down, will be knocked out of bounds at around the 47-yard line. Making the catch on that one is Drake Dulius.
Good play there. He had a catch against North Carolina, just gaining 1 yard, and he's a guy who has kind of been stuck behind some great tight ends on this roster. You look back to Dalton Keene, James Mitchell, Nick Gallo, getting a chance here late in this one.
Dulius, a 3rd-generation football player, both his grandfather and father playing for the Clemson Tigers. 1st down and 10 from the Virginia Tech 48-yard line. Clock now under 7 minutes. Receiver 1 to the right and left on the right hash mark. It will be a handoff to Keyshawn King. King can't go much further. That's about a 3-yard gain, but they will get into Middle Tennessee territory.
And Reed Blankenship stepped up to make that play from his safety spot. Despite maybe a lackluster performance from Middle Tennessee's defense today, he has flashed across the field, and there's a reason why he could be an NFL draft pick next year coming out of a Conference USA team.
6 minutes to go, 35-7. Virginia Tech leads Middle Tennessee in the first ever meeting between the two schools on the football field. Kadum takes the snap, will hand it off to King. King over to the right side will be up and ended A great tackle by Teldrick Ross of Middle Tennessee. Ross, the redshirt sophomore out of Macon, Georgia, attending Jones County High School, in on the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 5 from the Middle Tennessee 47.
Ross had the interception last week, took it back for 6. Middle Tennessee scored in all 3 phases of the game against Monmouth. First time they've done that since 2014.
3 receivers over to the left side. Kadam will only look towards the left, hit as he throws, and that one will fall just shy of the intended receiver. It looks to be Jaden Payute.
Yep, tried to get it out to Payute on that left side again. He's been described as a freak athlete by this coaching staff for Virginia Tech, and I expect he'll get settled in and get more opportunities as the season continues to roll along.
So 5:14, the clock will stop after the incompletion. It's 4th and 5. Here comes the punting unit. Peter Moore makes his first appearance of the second half. Moore will boot it from the 43. Coming after it will be Jalen Lane. Lane calls for a fair catch at the 14-yard line, surrounded by 5 Hokies in white uniforms. With 5:07 to go, Middle Tennessee will take another drive, down by 28, 35-7, Virginia Tech in the lead. As we'll take a short timeout and be back here on 3304 Sports. 35-7, your score with 5:07 to go. Middle Tennessee takes the ball over on the 14-yard line. 5 minutes and 7 seconds remain. Blue Raiders down by 28 to the number 19 team in the country in the Virginia Tech Hokies. CUSA versus the ACC. Some good action in the ACC today. Pittsburgh taking down their SEC foe in Tennessee, 41-34. Georgia Tech takes down Kennesaw State, 45-17. Wake takes down Norfolk State, 41-16. Virginia, big Power 5 victory over Illinois, 42-14. Currently, Rutgers leads Syracuse 14-7 with 10 minutes, 32 seconds to go in the 4th. And at halftime, Boston College, lackluster performance against UMass. They lead 14-0.
Well, the Coastal, again, looking wide open as it pretty much is every single year. North Carolina and Miami, the 2 favorites, but Virginia Tech looks good, beating the Tar Heels last week. And now Pitt and Virginia both 2-0, both beating Power 5 conference opponents earlier today.
Those 2 schools that you mentioned, Miami and North Carolina, both kick off at 7 o'clock and 7:30. North Carolina playing Georgia State, Miami playing App State. So Hawkman now under center will take the snap. Excuse me, that's Cunningham. Cunningham over the middle has a wide open receiver in Jaron Pierce. A good play by Cunningham, stretching out his arms, showing what he can do against a Power 5 opponent.
Yeah, it's a great throw right up the sideline, able to get it there for a big gain, and maybe Middle Tennessee can make this look a little more respectable with the score here late.
1st and 10 on the Middle Tennessee 40. Cunningham still under center will have a handoff up the middle. A few more yards than it originally looked like, catching up to the running back at around the 48-yard line. And that will actually be ruled a 1st down past midfield.
Wow. Getting in there on that tackle, and now at the free safety position, Jalen Stroman. That name might sound familiar. Greg Stroman, his brother, played with the Hokies a couple years back, now with the Washington football team.
That was the tight end Suttereth on the carry. And a big sack now by Nike Hawkins, the defensive back, on Cunningham. Cunningham remains in the ballgame, 2nd and 11. It will go down officially as a sack for Hawkins. 2nd and 11 on the Middle Tennessee 49-yard line. Lining up on the border between the V and the T. A throw over to the right side, nearly picked off. Going down much prior to the 1st down marker for Middle Tennessee is number 86. Not on our roster. Under 4 to play. 35-7. Virginia Tech still leading. It will be 3rd down and 6 from the Virginia Tech 46-yard line.
Breon Murray, good in coverage there. Almost jumped that route. Could have taken it back for 6 if he got his paws on it.
So it'll be 3rd down and 6 from the Virginia Tech 46. Cunningham trying to impress against Virginia Tech. A screenplay will work for Middle Tennessee, maybe just a yard shy. Tyler Sweet makes the catch for the Blue Raiders. And they will mark him a yard shy. It'll be 4th down and 1 on the 41-yard line.
Sweet, the wide receiver wearing number 35. Don't see that too often. Listed at just 5'8", 167.
Middle Tennessee going to go for this 4th down and 1. Cunningham still under center. 2 minutes, 37 seconds, and you have to imagine that Virginia Tech will just run the clock out if this 4th down conversion does not go through. Handoff, and that one will be stopped shy of the line, fighting for a few extra yards. Will be marked down at the 40-yard line, and that is a 1st down for Middle Tennessee, so keeps their drive alive, and you mentioned it, Jake, to make this look more respectable with a score on this drive.
Well, the Hokies look like they bottled that one up. Would have given the Hokies the ball back, would have needed just 1 first down to seal this victory, but he was able to press through and get just across that 40-yard line for the 1st down.
There's an injured Blue Raider, Jordan Palmer, the offensive lineman, junior, 6 foot, 304 pounds, sits on the 42-yard line on his knees and will be checked out by team doctors. There is a called stop at 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this ball game. As taking a look in the crowd, it is a very sparse crowd from where we started today's game, as some fans are starting to make their way towards the exits now in garbage time with the Hokies up by 28.
Well, I think the Hokies fans and coaching staff, or excuse me, players and coaching staff, probably glad that the crowd is dispersed this much, because if there were that many fans in the crowd, it means it's probably a close game, and the Hokies are glad they've pulled away to almost a 30-point advantage with 2 minutes to go.
As still down on the field is that offensive lineman in Palmer for Middle Tennessee.
And that would be a tough loss for these Blue Raiders. Late in the game, their starting center was rated as the number 2 JUCO center coming out of the College of the Canyons, was named to the Conference USA preseason watch list.
So Palmer did his job as an offensive lineman, giving his running back a lane. It will be 1st down and 10 for Middle Tennessee. They have 2 timeouts to work with 2 minutes and 11 seconds. They line up at the Virginia Tech 40-yard line as Chase Cunningham back under center. Cunningham will have 2 receivers on both his right and left side, lining up at the 40-yard line on the left hash. Fire over to the left side, a completed pass. That one will go to number 84, dressed in all blue, in Elijah Metcalf. Out of bounds will stop the clock on a 3-yard gain. 2nd down and 7 on the 37-yard line. Clock stopped at 1:51. Excuse me, clock running at 1:47 and counting down. 2nd down and 7, 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Still lining up on that left hash mark. Cunningham takes a snap, bobbles it a bit. Will look over to the right side and decide to roll over to the right. Still looking to throw and will throw over the middle. A great catch in on the coverage was Hawkins for Virginia Tech, but it will be a completed pass to Brad Anderson. The running back making a catch for the 1st down.
Now under a minute and a half to go. We'll see how desperate Middle Tennessee is to try and get in the end zone late.
1st down and 10 on the 25-yard line of Virginia Tech. Minute 15 and counting down. Cunningham takes the snap, looks over to his right side, fires. Wide open receiver has his man who falls down. A little frustrated with himself is Metcalf, but it will be 1st and goal for the Blue Raiders. Clock will stop to reset the chains of minute 6.
And Metcalf has had himself a nice game so far now, well over 40 yards through the air. He had the big play down the right sideline back in the 3rd quarter, and now has them inside the 6.
1st and goal on the 6-yard line, under a minute to play. 3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right. Cunningham takes a snap, looks over to the left, bloops the ball over. Incomplete, intended for Metcalf yet again in the corner of the end zone. Clock will stop at 50 seconds. 2nd down and 6. No field goal attempts today. Should this go to 4th down, may see Middle Tennessee go for the touchdown or just try to get double digits on the scoreboard with a field goal attempt. But it is currently 2nd and goal on the 6-yard line. Most of Middle Tennessee's offense bunched up under center with one exception. I believe that's Metcalf over to the left side. On the right hash mark. 50 seconds takes the snap. It will be a handoff up the middle and immediately stopped. In on the tackle for Virginia Tech is number 47 in Dean Ferguson.
And Ferguson's a guy the Hokies hope will take over for Dax Hollyfield eventually at that Mike linebacker spot, getting some run late in this one.
Middle Tennessee uses a timeout with 44 seconds. That's not going to make the Virginia Tech fans who've stayed the course of this game happy, as, to be frank, this game is in garbage time and Middle Tennessee's just trying to make this game look better than it is.
Third down coming up. You would assume it's two-down territory. No reason to make this a 25-point game. Try and get in the end zone with under a minute to go. At this point, if Middle Tennessee was not to score and the Hokies get the ball back, they would just be able to kneel it out and get themselves to 2-0 on the season.
It'll be 3rd and goal on the 7-yard line. 35-7 Virginia Tech, the 19th ranked team in the country. Looks like it could be going up in the rankings with a victory over a CUSA opponent in Middle Tennessee. And with this win, Virginia Tech will go 1-0 all time against the Blue Raiders. 44 seconds left. It looks to be that same play with Mobley taking the direct snap. And indeed it is. Mobley takes the snap. Will look over. A bloop pass into the end zone. Intercepted, but a flag on the play. Should it stand, it would be Devin Hunter with the interception. Looks like this one could be pass interference. And it is pass interference on Hunter. Boos from the crowd. However, none of it will matter at the end of the day.
And a little jump pass there from Middle Tennessee, pulling out the Tim Tebow play in the red zone. Maybe that's why they called the timeout, but tough call there as it looked like Hunter was just going for the ball. Flag comes in, wipes off the interception.
Boos from the home supporters that have stayed seeing the replay. It'll now be 1st and goal from the 2. Middle Tennessee trying to punch it in. Bunched up offense under center. Cunningham with a handoff and immediately met, but breaking a tackle over to the right side and finally being taken down. The all 11 Hokies in on the stop. And what a run by Frank Peasant. I mentioned we haven't mentioned his name today. Finally gets a carry, and what athleticism by Peasant to remain standing.
And that's something you don't see all that often. All 11 white jerseys helping taking down Peasant on that play. And the Hokies are really just one play away from ending this game.
Timeout called by Middle Tennessee and the Blue Raiders. Their final timeout with 31 seconds to play. And that almost confirms it that they are just trying to see what they can do with Chase Cunningham under center.
Well, and you're still playing Power 5 level talent, and these players on the field may not be as polished and as experienced as the guys you saw on the field earlier in this game, but you still are trying to get these guys reps against good talent in the Hokies and maybe see if you can punch one in here.
Middle Tennessee stayed in the game through halftime. It was only a 7-point lead for the Hokies, but since then, the second half has been all Virginia Tech.
It has 21-0 in the second half for Virginia Tech, and the offense really figuring it out. I think that was something that Justin Fuente and Brad Cornelson were not pleased with. The offense seemed very stagnant early in the game. They were able to figure it out in the second half and allowed them to pull away to this 28-point lead.
2nd down and goal from the 6-yard line. 3 receivers will be to Cunningham's left, 1 to the right. 31 seconds. Middle Tennessee not able to stop the clock anymore besides a spike. Cunningham looks over to the right side, fires, touchdown, Middle Tennessee. Finding his receiver, number 97. Make that number 87, Markel Tinsley, for Middle Tennessee as they get into double digits. And here's something I didn't expect to say. Middle Tennessee's offense has outscored North Carolina against Virginia Tech's defense.
And it's true. Only 10 points for the Tar Heels last Friday night, and that puts Middle Tennessee at 13. Will be 14 pending the extra point.
Zeke Rankin, 5 for 5 this season on extra points, trying to make it 6 for 6. Holder will be Ulbrich. The snap, kick, up and good into the north end zone student section, making it 35-14 with 27 seconds to go. And what you should really expect in the next 27 seconds is a kickoff. Probably going to be a touchback from Middle Tennessee. A kneel by whoever decides to take the quarterback spot, whether that be Burmeister, Kadam, or Blumrick. And the coaches will shake hands for a game well fought.
Virginia Tech came in and did their job. Again, last touchdown maybe makes this score not look quite as dominant from the Hokies, but a really solid performance. The defense looked really good overall. There was one or two drives there where they looked a little bit shaky, but outside of those couple of spots, the defense looked really good, and the offense turned it on late, and should be some good momentum heading into that matchup with the Mountaineers in Morgantown next week.
So for the first time this half, Middle Tennessee will have its kickoff squad come out. And it looks to be a backup kicker as well. It'll be number 48, Alex Ussery, kicking it off. He split PATs with Rankin last week against Monmouth. Back to return for Virginia Tech is Keyshawn King. Ussery ready to kick this one off. At the 35-yard line, he boots it. It's going to be a squib kick going over to the 20-yard line. It'll be received by the Hokies. And now breaking a tackle, another big kickoff return. Has some room, and on the return was Emmanuel Belmar. It was number 8 for the Hokies. Belmar, the only number 8 on the roster sheet.
Well, Emmanuel Belmar retired from football, so it's not Emmanuel Belmar. Hokies getting some young players in on this one, and Marco Lee is what is announced over the PA, the young running back, and he's up close to midfield.
Well, number 7 on the roster sheet, but number 8 on the field.
Well, maybe it's possible when Belmar decided to leave the team, Marco Lee decided to grab his number.
So 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. It looks like there's going to be a play, as there will be a handoff and a run over to the left side, getting out of bounds is Malachi Thomas on the carry.
Well, Malachi Thomas, a promising young running back, and I guess the Hokies have decided you don't get much out of a kneel down. Give him a carry here and see what he can do, and that's a pretty good run from Malachi Thomas.
Thomas will get a first down. It goes out to the Middle Tennessee 42. Knocks Kadam under center. Expected a kneel down, and you really can't score at risk of being seen as unsportsmanlike. So 1st and 10, Thomas to the right side. Thomas will get the handoff. Doesn't get much further than 2 yards out to the 40, being pushed backwards. Some extracurriculars as Thomas is put down on the field. Clock will tick to 3, 2, and 1 as Virginia Tech, in the first ever meeting against the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, defeat Middle Tennessee 35-14, the final score here from Lane Stadium, on a day in which the offense didn't get going till the second half. 375 total yards for the Virginia Tech offense. Not the greatest defensive day, 283 yards for Middle Tennessee through the air, as Virginia Tech's secondary seemed to struggle in today's game.
Yeah, it was a tough outing for the Hokies secondary at times. Some lapses in coverage allowed Blue Raiders receivers to run free down the field, but the Hokies never gave up the big play. They gave up a couple of long plays down the field, but were able to make the tackle and hold Middle Tennessee State for most of the game. Hokies able to pull out this win and should at the very least stay where they are at number 19 in the rankings.
Well, we saw some upsets higher up in the rankings earlier today. I doubt that Ohio State's going to drop further past Virginia Tech after a loss to Oregon. However, there are some things in the top 25 score sheet right now that could go the Hokies' way. Toledo's keeping it close with Notre Dame at the current moment, as well as Texas A&M at last I checked, down to Colorado. It is 7-3, Colorado leading at halftime.
So definitely some chances for the Hokies to move up in the rankings, and could be a premier matchup, possibly. Notre Dame obviously close with Toledo right now, but looking ahead a few weeks away, Virginia Tech welcoming the Fighting Irish to Blacksburg. That one could be a premier matchup across the college football landscape.
Well, coming up for both teams, for Virginia Tech. They travel on the road to play West Virginia Saturday, September 18th, a noon kickoff on Fox Sports 1 against the West Virginia Mountaineers in a battle for the Black Diamond Trophy. The first in Morgantown in nearly 2 decades, as their lone meeting in recent memory was a neutral site contest in Landover, Maryland. The Hokies will next return here to Lane Stadium on September 25th against the Richmond Spiders, their lone FCS contest of the season. On the other side for Middle Tennessee, they start Conference USA play next weekend, a 5 o'clock kick against the UTSA Roadrunners. That game will be available on ESPN+. The next time the Blue Raiders return home, October 2nd, taking on the Marshall Thundering Herd. That will be a 6 o'clock kick on Stadium.
Yeah, a lot of big games coming up for both of these teams. Obviously, Conference USA's play starting for Middle Tennessee. Hokies have 3 straight non-conference matchups coming up, but some big opponents, West Virginia and Notre Dame in there, could make or break the way this season is going.
So one more time, your final score here from Lane Stadium, 35-14. The Hokies defeat the Blue Raiders. On their White Effect game, we look forward to next week seeing the at least number 19 ranked Virginia Tech Hokies, probably higher, travel to Morgantown in a battle for the Black Diamond Trophy. For my partner, Jake Lyman, I'm Tyler Katz. We thank you for listening. Virginia Tech victorious over Middle Tennessee, 35-14. We'll see you next time. This has been a presentation of 3304 Sports.